to the game begins. Alisson in goal for Brazil. Danilo, Marquinhos, Gabriel, Douglas Santos, the back four. Casemiro, Lucas Paquetá, Bruno Guimaraes, Ryan Mateus Cunha, and Vinicius Junior complete the starting 11. Alisson, all in blackcurrant colours, away to our left. Long ball downfield. Junior Ito gets a left foot on the ball. Dyson Maeder's already down on the floor, making an early challenge and took a whack. He's picked himself up and limps away from that. Hajime Moriyasu, the Japanese manager's made 4 changes to his team for this one. Next break in play, I'll run you through the lineup, but that is not unusual for him. Sees it very much as a squad game and trusts every single player in his 26-man squad to do the job. Ball is back with Douglas Santos, Brazil's left back. Rugged-looking Alisson with the long dark hair, jet black beard. Clears away with his left foot. Japan trying to win it high up in the Brazil half. Paquetá's on the floor, flicks the ball back, and the referee, who is Maurizio Mariani, the Italian, gives Brazil an early free kick. 1 minute in, 0-0. Here's Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Ritsu Doan, the right wing back for Japan. He played one up, didn't he, in the game, which myself and yourself covered in Dallas against Sweden. So he's a versatile player. He's a left footer who likes to come inside and try and link the play. It'll be interesting to see how Brazil go about this game.
Casemiro launches an enormous diagonal downfield ball, and it reaches Ryan, who brings it infield on his left foot. Passes to Guimaraes. Back it comes to Danilo. Flick from Casemiro on the edge of the penalty area was elaborate. Didn't find his man. Japan have lost it. Strike comes in, and the goalkeeper's happy to let that just whip by the near post. Took a deflection on the way through, and so that will be the first corner of the game. It goes to Brazil, and Bruno Guimaraes immediately urging the Brazilian fans to make even more noise inside this stadium, waving both arms at them.
Yeah, I think they do all right, the Brazilian fans, anyway. They don't need any more rousting up. And Guimaraes has come out to this right-hand side to take the corner. It'll be a right-footed outswinger, and you think this is where Brazil can hurt Japan.
Gabriel, who scores so many goals for Arsenal, has only ever scored 1 for his country. Yet to score at a major tournament. He'd love to get one here. Guimaraes, low delivery. Junior Ito heads it away for Japan. They've got Zion Suzuki in goal.
Tallest ever Japanese goalkeeper.
I knew you'd want to get that in early. At 6'3" tall, which I think is pretty similar to you, Chris.
Well, I said the other night I'm 6'3.5".
6'3.5".
He's not quite as tall.
Half's crucial. Coming up to 3 minutes played.
There's Maeder again with that press. They will soon realise the Brazilian back line, if they haven't already, that Dyson Maeder is phenomenal at shutting down.
Marquinhos leaps in the air. Loose pass back to him from Danilo. There's Maeda bustling into action again. Last touch came off the Japanese striker. That'll be a goal kick to Brazil. So Suzuki in goal. Takehiro Tomiyasu, former Arsenal man, comes back in for this one. Shogo Taniguchi and Hiroki Ito. Hiroki Ito of Bayern Munich is one of 5 outfield players who've started every game at this World Cup. Ritsu Doan on the right, as Chris said. Keito Nakamura of Reims on the left-hand side. Crystal Palace's Daichi Kamada in central midfield with Kaishu Sano as Cunha brings the ball forward. Guimaraes. It's Cunha actually who's down and claiming that he was fouled, and the assistant referee's got no interest in that.
I think we have all enjoyed the way these games have been officiated in terms of the referees. No nonsense, not putting up with dives and simulation and flapping.
Flapping, as the Americans call it. Apparently we discovered that on 606 yesterday. Front 3 for Japan just to finish the lineup off. Junior Ito has come in on the right-hand side. Ayase Ueda through the middle. Vinicius Junior trying to find a way through, and goalkeeper Suzuki quick off his line there. Double-fisted punch away for a throw into Brazil. Dyson Maeda on the left-hand side of that Japanese front 3. 4 minutes in, 0-0.
Speedy Suzuki, he had to be, didn't he? I don't think Vinicius Junior has touched the ball yet, but a little spinning behind Tomiyasu. And Suzuki really timely there to come out and fist the ball away.
Lionel Messi, tournament's top scorer, on 6. Vinicius Junior on 4. The equaliser against Morocco in the first game. Scored against Haiti. Couple against Scotland. Throw in for Japan in the right back position. Takahiro Tomiyasu back to Taniguchi, passes across the penalty area to his goalkeeper Suzuki, whose goalkeeping outfit is all dark green, orange gloves, orange boots. Long ball downfield.
We saw this the other night against Sweden. Now, Japan's front line isn't the tallest, to say the least, but they're happy to go long and try and pick up second balls, especially in the early stages. Don't really want to risk by playing through midfield.
Brazil 0, Japan 0. Marquinhos winning his 109th cap for Brazil alongside Gabriel, neither of whom were playing in Japan's 3-2 win against Brazil in Tokyo in October, as we were discussing before kickoff. Danilo, former Manchester City man, 1-2 with Ryan. Back to Ryan, lovely first touch on the left boot, clever pass through the legs of the defender, early cross from Guimaraes, volleyed away by Taniguchi, Casemiro's glancing header, and back it comes to Gabriel in the centre circle, who quickly goes to his left to Douglas Santos. First couple of touches for Vinicius Junior, speeds into space, receives the pass, controls it, down he goes, Sano makes the challenge, and Brazil get the free kick.
They're just drifting deep. Is playing quite central, Vinicius Junior, in the early stages of the game. Cunha doesn't play up against the centre-backs, he's dropping deep as well, trying to create little overloads, and here's an opportunity for Brazil. Gabriel's gone forward with his free kick.
Gabriel's up, Danilo's up, Marquinhos is up. Don't forget how good Casemiro is with his head as well. So many goals he scored last season for Manchester United with his bonce. Number 5 on the back of his bright yellow shirt. And here comes the free kick from the inside left channel. High, dropping down, corner 6-yard box. Goalkeeper spilt it. What a catch at the second attempt. That was like a slip fielder, nearly shelling one, and then reacting quickly to grab it and take the catch before the ball hit the ground.
Well, I like to see keepers catch the ball, as you well know, but he got away with that. A bit slippery for Suzuki initially.
Suzuki's got the ball 2 yards from his own goal line, doesn't want to hang on to it there too long. Tomiyasu receives it from him, down the right he goes to Doan. Doan is challenged, and the last touch comes off Douglas Santos, so that will be a throw-in to Japan. Neymar's face has appeared on the giant screens at either end of the stadium, so obviously in the world we live in now, and the cult of celebrity and the importance of the individual, that gets one of the biggest roars. One substitute appearance in the tournament so far for him. 0-0. We think this is going to be a tight one here in Houston. Tough draw for both of them actually so early in the tournament. Brazil won Group C and got the runners-up in Group F. Winners of Group F, Netherlands, got a tough one themselves because they've got to play Morocco. Winners of this game, though, will play Ivory Coast or Norway. And we've got full commentary on their game in Dallas tomorrow. Chris and I will bring you that one from 6 p.m. UK time. Marquinhos inside his own half, patient passing from Brazil. Casemiro on the Sunday stroll just walks across the halfway line. Guimaraes gets involved, the Newcastle man. Orange boots, pretty much everyone either in orange boots or pink boots. Ryan wide on the right, low pass infield to Guimaraes. Japan have pretty much every outfield player behind the ball. Ueda, the centre forward, comes in to try and nick it off Guimaraes. He gets it back to Marquinhos, whips it across to Gabriel, 45 yards from goal. 1-2 with Vinicius, and then Vinicius comes a wandering here into the middle of the pitch. He's taken up a position in the number 10 role as Marquinhos feeds it out to Ryan on the right. Early cross with his left foot. Wide it goes to the left back, Santos. Volleys it first time back to Gabriel. They're just trying to pull Japan out of position here. Floated by Casemiro wide. Santos controls. They'll come back to the halfway line again.
Yep, and Japan's shape out of possession. They've got that back 5, haven't they? 4 across the midfield in Ueda. And the zone up top, happy to sit in, bit of discipline, and say to Brazil, you try and break us down. We win the ball back though, and we are going to counter, not just counter at pace.
Ball over the top, in behind Japan. Danilo is there, it bounces twice, hooks it across goal towards the far post, drops down, chested down, brave header from Doan. Guimaraes receives it edge of the box, and he hits his own teammate, smack in the face with the strike. Play continues.
Paqueta, wasn't it?
Yeah, Paqueta. He took a whack in the face. No, you're right, Chris, actually. Paqueta. I was just checking on his pronunciation before the game. I'm so used to saying Paqueta. Again, ball into that Japan penalty area. Header sideways. Clever one, actually. Goalkeeper able to come out and get that on the bounce. Brazil 0, Japan 0.
Vinicius Junior just trying to exploit that space in behind the Japanese back line. Japan certainly haven't found any real rhythm on the ball. I think in these early stages they are happy to sit deep and contain.
Junya Ito receives the ball inside his own half, plays back into midfield to Sano, who's coming for Tanaka. Classic example, exactly, Chris. Classic example of the manager changing things when you think, well, why? He was so good.
Moriyasu, he's the Japanese tinker man, isn't he?
Yes, quite right. Hiroki Ito, Harry Kane's teammate at Bayern Munich. Here is Sano, who's coming for Tanaka. Short, stocky figure, off-white shirt, untucked, number 24 on his back. Taniguchi plays to Tomiyasu. Ball back into the Japanese midfield. Space to work with here on the left-hand side. Wide it comes to Nakamura. First touch of the game for him. Good ball in. Marquinhos is able to leap and head it away. It bounces on the edge of the Brazil penalty area. And then it's laid off by Paqueta to Santos and cleared. Japan should be able to pick up the loose bits. That's a 50-50 with Vinicius there. Vinicius is fouled by Sano, both going for the ball. Vinicius down hurt. All we can see is his back flat on the floor. Free kick Brazil.
And Vinicius asking for a yellow card. I mean Sano is slightly late and stands on Vinicius Junior's right foot, but I don't think a yellow card was given, or what was it?
I didn't see it, Chris. Oh no, there we go, up on the screen.
Did get one. Well, you're not allowed to tackle the big stars, are you?
Don't think you're allowed to ask for yellow cards, actually, Chris, are you? But again,
it's a little bit late. We'll have to be careful now.
Yes, Sano, who's in for Tanaka in central midfield, whose job is to do the chasing and the pressing and the harrying and the tackling, cannot miss time one now in this game. There we go, confirmation on the big screen inside the Houston Stadium, home of the Houston Texans. Casemiro to Gabriel, Guimaraes, first time ball back to Casemiro, the conductor of this from his deep lying midfield position towards Vinicius, can't control that with that sore right foot. Doan brings it away for Japan, turns, plays back to Tomiyasu, he in turn comes back to the goalkeeper. Quick first time ball to the middle of the three centre-backs, Taniguchi. Rolls it back to Suzuki again. Can't take too long there. Couple of touches and then thumps it downfield. Centre forward Ueda of Feyenoord. Got the first touch, couldn't control it. Brazil have the ball inside their own half. With Casemiro. Another one in the orange boots. Precise pass through the middle. On it goes. Cunha lines up the shot. And goalkeeper goes low, scrambles to his right, gets the touch, knocks it behind for a corner. It may just have been going wide.
Yeah, well, Bruno Guimaraes is taking positions really high up the pitch, and he feeds the ball to Cunha, 22 yards out, left-footed.
They've gone quick on the corner, Brazil, as well. Vinicius' ball into the penalty area. First time effort from Guimaraes is wide of the left-hand post. Cunha threatening to get on the end of it, but was never quite in range to do so. Brazil 0, Japan 0. Brazil have had the better of it so far, Chris. Look,
they have, controlling the game, really. Japan mentioned they're disciplined, defending deep. Just seeing the Cunha effort once again, left-footed, centrally. Yeah, I think it's just heading wide. May have been catching the post, but Suzuki couldn't take any chances. Couldn't take a risk. Ito's ball is a good one through the Brazilian midfield. Junya Ito pops up in the inside left channel, dribbling. Challenge from Casemiro, slides into the back of him, gets an immediate yellow card and a free kick for Japan, 20 yards from goal. Great feat, wasn't it, from Junya Ito, just drifting from that right-hand side centrally. Lovely little shimmy, and then he was clattered by Casemiro, who sees yellow, and this is a real opportunity from Japan, left-hand side of the box. What, 21, 22 yards out? Yeah. I'd say this is the perfect distance, Bruce. This could put the cat amongst the World Cup pigeons, or as we discovered in Russia 8 years ago, Chris, as they say over there, this could let the goat into the vegetable garden.
Right, Daichi Kamada is one who could hit it. Doan is there as well.
We're not good at this end in free kicks, are we? Because this was the end where we thought Ronaldo was going to hit one.
Yeah.
And then was it, Mendes popped it in the left footer. So, yeah, it'll be interesting this. Doan, the right wing back, is over the ball. So will it be a lefty or will it be a righty?
Could be the Doan left foot whip around the 5-man Brazilian wall. Lucas Paqueta down, getting himself comfortable, just peering through the legs of his teammates there. And you can see Doan is waving the Japanese wall. They've set up a 3-man white-shirted wall just to the left of the Brazilian wall and behind it. Just want to cause as much confusion for Alisson as possible. Kamada hits it into the wall. Big build-up, and it spins off and goes behind for the corner.
I don't know whether he was going there for they had a draft excluder, didn't they, Brazil? But I don't know whether he was going for under the jump and over the draft excluder, which would have been interesting.
Some of the great Brazilians here, former World Cup winners watching the game, although Ronaldo's busy on his phone at the moment, doesn't seem too bothered with the action. Sitting next to Roberto Carlos, I saw Dunga, captain of the winning team 1994, pitch side, brilliant central midfielder that he was. Brazil here have to defend a corner. Good delivery into the near post. Bounces down. Flicked away on the right boot by Guimarães. Here come Japan again. Nakamura to Junya Ito. Nakamura continues the run on the left. Ito overhits the pass and it goes straight behind for the goal kick to Brazil. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, live at the 2026 World Cup. Your 24-hour World Cup station. Germany, Paraguay to come tonight. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin live from Boston. That game's also on BBC One, so you can do the usual thing. TV pictures with our commentary if you go via the iPlayer. Early hours tomorrow morning, 2 o'clock, we've got full commentary on Netherlands-Morocco.
Good game. Good game that, isn't it?
Another good game, Chris. And then you and I in Dallas, 6 o'clock tomorrow for Ivory Coast-Norway.
Good game.
Good game. And what are you going to say to this one? France-Sweden, 10 o'clock tomorrow night in New York.
Good game.
That's meant to be Brucey's line, isn't it? Good game, good game. Here's Maeda, looking for the cross in. Wins the throw, it comes off the legs of Gabriel.
Yeah, they're quite flexible, aren't they, Japan, in the way that they play. There's Maeda, we know he can play centrally or off the right or off the left, just drifting centrally there.
Japan's 5th World Cup knockout game, yet to win one, lost on penalties to Croatia at the last World Cup, which is exactly what Brazil did as well in the quarter-finals. Both ousted on penalties for Japan. As the host 2002, they lost to Turkey in the last 16. Turkey, of course, who went on to reach the semi-finals. It was a penalties defeat against Paraguay in 2010. Chris and I were in Rostov in 2018. We watched Japan go 2-0 up against Belgium, and Belgium came roaring back in the second half and won it by 3-2. And then the penalties defeat against Croatia 4 years ago. Brazil on the ball, inside their own half. Gabriel, no one near him from the opposition, but he decides to pass it to his right to Marquinhos, who gives it back to him. Mateus Cunha, the centre forward, has dropped right back to the left of Gabriel to receive the pass here.
Yeah, I mean, we're calling him a centre forward. He's not really, is he, the way that he's played in the early part of the game, always dropping into little spaces, trying to get on the half turn and slide balls forward.
Under the roof in Houston, but we're going to need a drink in about 3 minutes' time. Drinks break on the way. Guimarães receives the ball in the centre circle. Paqueta, now of Flamengo, formerly of West Ham. Vinicius takes the ball. 2 defenders immediately on him, snapping at his heels. Down he goes. Throw in for Brazil. Taken quickly. Across it comes to Marquinhos. There's Danilo.
Yeah, he'll be more at his age, more of a back support, right back. Won't see him getting ahead of the ball too many times, or ahead of the winger in front of him, Ryan.
We will be getting a Wimbledon update in the drinks break here, so it'll last here for 2.5 minutes or so. Russell Fuller, our tennis correspondent, busy in action today. First day of Wimbledon, all the headlines to come. Not been a great day for the Brits, I was hearing earlier on. Japan need to win that. Sano does it. Got there just in time. Head of Guimaraes. The ball is with Ito. Ito fires it rather riskily across the pitch. That's read by Santos, who heads it down to himself, continues the run forward. Vinicius, Tomiyasu comes across to try and block him. Vinicius goes on the outside, gets the cross in. Taniguchi heads it away, ball to the byline, cut back from Paqueta. Tomiyasu is there, clears for Japan.
How sharp was Vinicius there? Put the burners on, didn't he? And took a yard or two out of Tomiyasu to get to the byline and cross the ball in.
Tomiyasu, whose latter time at Arsenal ruined by injuries, now playing at Ajax. Marquinhos across to Gabriel. Brazil dominating the football at the moment, but they will know Japan pack a punch. 5 defeats in their last 42 games for Japan. That's how impressive their form has been since the last World Cup. Marquinhos. Gabriel crosses the halfway line, encroaches into Japanese territory. Vinicius comes towards him, flicks the ball with the laces of his right boot to Paqueta. Vinicius involved again, 1-2 with Cunha. Still a long way from the Japanese goal here. Marquinhos receives the ball, trots forward, feeds it to Casemiro. Casemiro shuffles to his right, stops, passes back to his left to Gabriel, who was thinking about the penetrating pass to Vinicius there and then held off on it. Guimaraes suddenly involved in a pocket of space. Cunha lays it back to Gabriel, quickly gives it to Paqueta. Wide it comes, but overhit pass over the head of Danilo, and all the patient passing possession comes to peanuts. Throw in for Japan.
So you've got the 5 at the back for Japan, and then it's a narrow 4 in midfield, saying to Brazil, you're not going to play through us centrally, you're going to have to go out wide. They tried to switch there, but Paqueta off target with the long ball.
Ronaldinho is in the house as well, Chris.
Yeah, he's got my shirt.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He has one of your shirts, doesn't he?
Sure.
He came looking for it after the game.
He did, yeah. Sure, it's above his fireplace.
If they run out of wood, though, Chris, on a cold night, do you think he'd ever be tempted to...
You're better than that.
No, I am. I beg your pardon. Heading to Wimbledon shortly. This is live from Houston. This is Brazil 0, Japan 0, and it's cautious and cagey at the moment, but engrossing for that. Cunha, wide on the left, is allowed to turn. Goes past Sano, keeps going, Sano slides in.
Well,
did he get the ball?
That should have been a foul.
Yeah.
And Sano on a yellow.
Yeah.
Cunha slipping past him on the left-hand side near the touchline. I mean, maybe we're wrong, we're a long way away, but he doesn't touch the ball. That's stupid from Sano.
Yeah.
That challenge, that could. Do you know what? I'll say it should have been a second yellow. I'm not sure about the first one, but the fact he's on a yellow.
I think there, Chris, he slides in, sort of attempting to make a block if Cunha's going to cross. He's a long way away. Cunha's momentum takes him over his legs.
Look at Marquinhos as well.
He's got away with it there, making the point for the referee. Right, time to get to Wimbledon. So from the Houston Stadium to centre court at Wimbledon, tennis correspondent Russell Fuller can bring us up to date with the first day of the championships.
And at the moment, Ali, here on centre court, I'm watching the world #1, Aryna Sabalenka, who is playing a player who perhaps didn't expect to be in this Wimbledon draw because she's a qualifier at 184 in the world, Teodora Kostovic of Serbia. Sabalenka won the first set 6-2, and she has the break now in the second, leading by 3-2. As you suggested just now, it's not been a good opening day at all for the British players. I've just seen another defeat, although this was Oliver Tarvett, who qualified for the second year in a row. He's 346 in the world, and he was playing the 25th seed Artur Rinderknecht, and he's just lost that in 4 sets, dropping the 4th set by 7-5. 2 other British players on court. Hannah Klugman up against the recent champion Barbora Krejcikova. She is 6-1, 3-1 down, the 17-year-old. But 18-year-old Mimi Zhu is making a fight of things in her first-round match against Daria Kasatkina, who is ranked 261 places above her. She's just squared the match by taking the second set by 6-3. Earlier in the day, we lost Jack Draper. Before he'd even walked out onto court, he was due to play Taylor Fritz tomorrow. He says he's been ruled out of the championships by a recurrence of his bone bruising injury. Cameron Norrie beaten In a fifth-set tiebreak, the British #1 lost to the American qualifier Michael Zheng. And earlier in the day, we saw wins for Jessica Pegula, Naomi Osaka, Daniel Medvedev and Yannick Sinner, the defending champion, Ali. But he was taken to 5 sets, winning in 3 hours, 30 minutes against Miomir Kecmanovic of Serbia.
Thank you, Russell. I would describe that as a comprehensive roundup from the BBC's tennis correspondent. And talking comprehensive roundups, don't forget the Wimbledon Daily this year at the Championships, available on the BBC Sounds app via the All About feed. So if you want to go looking for that, it's the All About feed. Just plug that into the search engine and you'll find that as a podcast and you'll get that every day during Wimbledon. Lucas Leiva, former Brazilian international, with us for coverage of this game. They're just coming back out. We've got 30 seconds or so before the game gets back underway. Lucas, what have you made of the first quarter of this match, Brazil-Japan?
Yeah, it's really difficult for Brazil to break through. I think they are defending with a back 5, so Brazil have to be really patient, try to play on the wide areas, and I think Brazil start to cross some balls. I think Matheus Cunha should be maybe more in the middle, so I think they will have chances.
Okay, Lucas, thank you. More from Lucas throughout coverage. Chris Sutton sitting alongside me. Sano, you think a lucky boy in central midfield for Japan?
I just wonder whether it has crossed Moriyasu's mind that he's not going to get another chance, is he?
No.
So, we mentioned Tanaka.
And he doesn't mind making changes, does he? Either at the start of the game or during the game. So, yeah, Sano's going to have to be careful. Nakamura's made a good run into space, attacking position on the right for Japan, and he's won a corner straight after the drinks break.
Yeah, and there was that long ball I talked about, and it's all about who picks up the second ball. I think it was Nakamura who picked the ball up and popped it wide. Now, can Japan work something from a set play?
20 minutes or so left in the first half.
They did against the Dutch, didn't they? Scored late on.
Correct, in the 2-2. Here comes the corner from the right. A lot of movement inside that penalty area. An away swing. A powerful header is over the crossbar. It was a decent leap. It was a good contact from the centre-forward Ueda, but he couldn't keep it down. He scored 25 goals in the Eredivisie last season for Feyenoord, playing under Robin van Persie, and has a couple of goals at this tournament as well. Alisson, delayed a little there, chased furiously by Junior Ito. Brazil play out comfortably though, so Alisson's all in this sort of Fiorentina purple. Described it as black currant earlier on. Bright orange gloves, bright orange boots, like his opposite number down the other end. Alisson, now the grand old age of 33, smashes the ball downfield with his right foot. Paqueta has lost out there. Ito quickly slams it back downfield. It comes all the way through to Alisson, 0-0.
And you see the way Brazil are shaping up at times. Paqueta and Bruno Guimaraes are actually higher up the field than Cunha. Lucas Leiva saying Cunha needs to get himself in the box. I suppose it's a debate, isn't it, whether Igor Thiago would be that better fit.
Started the first game when Brazil were pretty shoddy in that first half against Morocco. Cunha started ever since. Here's Gabriel on the ball. Just a flood of the bright yellow shirts all around the stadium. Great atmosphere here in the build-up to kick-off as well. Fans mingling on the way to the ground in the concourses as well. Ball forward here is loose and intercepted, and there's Taniguchi to Junior Ito. He's tackled. Ryan is there in central midfield for Brazil, so Danilo sets off down the right, receives it, gives it away. Chance for Japan on the counter. Sano goes screaming past Casemiro, brings it forward, hits the shot and finds the back of the net for Japan. What a story we might have on our hands in Houston. The Japan subs can't control their joy. They come streaming off the bench. They go racing towards Sano, Kaishu Sano, who's taken his moment quite brilliantly there, pounced on the ball, skipped past Casemiro and fired it past Alisson. Brazil 0, Japan 1.
And he was the player who fouled Cunha just before the drinks break, didn't he? And the Brazil players were surrounding the referee saying he shouldn't be on the field, but it's dreadful from Danilo. Pass in the middle of the pitch and Sano just picks the ball up, drives the space. The Brazilian centre-halves back off and is, 20, 21 yards out. He thinks, why not? Why not have a strike, right-footed, past Allison into the corner. It's a brilliant, brilliant finish. Allison not far off it, but precise from Sano. Sensational from Sano. I mentioned Japan have a plan, and it's working.
Sano strikes with a rapier's thrust. Pinpoint finish into the bottom corner. This delirious celebrations, I mean, understandably as well, but they bided their time so far in the game, and they have struck.
And we always said that Sano should start ahead of Tanaka, didn't we?
Yeah, or possibly should have been taken off at the drinks break. What do we know? That's his first goal for his country as well.
Nice time to start, isn't it?
Yeah. 16th cap, first goal, just saw the moment and seized the moment, and now Brazil are under pressure. Last time they were beaten in the first knockout round at a World Cup was 36 years ago at Italia 90. They were beaten by Argentina in Turin. Claudio Caniggia scored the goal, and here they are in Houston, 1-0 down against Japan. Brazil also have never lost to an Asian nation at the World Cup. Vinicius' cross blocked by Junior Ito, comes off his right boot and goes out for a throw-in to Brazil.
And he's been relatively quiet, hasn't he, Vinicius, in this game so far. You always feel that he will have a moment, but Japan, the discipline, the way they're defending, and we know they're capable of really countering at pace.
Hajime Moriyasu, the manager, said the aim is to win the tournament. That's what we're coming here to do, having never previously won a knockout game.
Maybe your dark horses, weren't they?
I quite fancy Japan, Chris. I like them. I love the way they play their football. I love the way they and their fans carry themselves as well. There's a foul there over on the left-hand side. Douglas Santos, the left-back, has gone down. So free kick for Brazil, just about level with the penalty area, wide on the left, and they've been rocked.
Rizzo Doan saying I got the ball, but he certainly gets a bit of Douglas Santos, stands on his foot.
So Japan set up to defend the set piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white shirts all in a line 2 yards ahead of the penalty spot, and just the yellow shirts, the attacking players, sprinkled in around them. Marquinhos is there, Gabriel is there obviously. Cunha lurking at the far post. Delivery's going to come from wide on the left. Paqueta's ball in is good. Glancing header from Marquinhos is well wide, and behind for a Japan goal kick.
Yeah, he's good in the air, isn't he, Marquinhos? But set play-wise so far, Japan have coped pretty comfortably, haven't they?
They have. Taken the goal kick. Suzuki. Ryan closes in. Suzuki whips it low, and Kamada off balance, just couldn't control that, and it comes off his right boot and goes straight out for a Brazilian throw. Winners of this game in the last 16 will play Ivory Coast or Norway. That game will be in the New York, New Jersey Stadium on July the 5th, and the winners of that game, hold on a second, first time ball from Guimaraes is intercepted. Vinicius hits one from the edge of the box straight at the keeper, bounces in front of him, watched, waited, and just clutched it to his chest. The winners of that game could possibly meet England in a quarter-final, but England obviously come up against DR Congo, and then if they win that, one of Mexico or Ecuador, and England back in action. Just to mark your cards for this one. 5 o'clock kickoff Wednesday in Atlanta. Full commentary, of course, here on BBC Radio 5 Live. England against the Democratic Republic of Congo, who we've watched twice, Chris.
And yeah, England and Thomas Tuchel won't be taking things for granted.
No.
We saw them draw with Portugal, and they played pretty well in that game.
Gabriel's long ball forward, brilliant leap from Taniguchi, in the air for ages there. Paqueta and Casemiro collide. That was like a circus act. Tumble from Paqueta was brilliant.
Well, Casemiro's halved his own player there, hasn't he?
He did. Here's Casemiro. Just couldn't live with Sano. Sano had the run on him, but once he'd gone past him, Casemiro's never catching him. You know that. And then Sano had the poise to complete the finish. Cross comes in from Danilo. Oh, that's scrappy from Japan in the defending. Wide it goes on the left to Vinicius. He's always dangerous from here. Lays it back. Paqueta's shot. Blocked again by Sano, still Brazil on the attack. Santos just pokes it, prods it here to Vinicius. 2 white shirts in his way. Back it goes to Santos. Doan just runs towards him, blocks the ball.
Brilliant.
Squeezes a lovely little pass down the right to Junior Ito. He's tackled. Brazil back on the attack. Paqueta's ball through the legs of Vinicius. Couldn't control it. Goal kick to Japan. Brazil 0, Japan 1.
He did well just before then to Doan when Vinicius Junior scored the goal, didn't he, coming inside against Morocco. We often see it. And Doan blocking the line of the shot and forcing Vinicius Junior to pop the ball out, then winning the ball back. But yeah, Brazil a bit more aggression from them now. They've gone a goal down.
10 minutes left in the first half. Japan have lost the ball, bringing it out from the back. Guimaraes on the dribble. To his left is Cunha. First touch takes him wide. He's inside the Japanese penalty area. Back to Vinicius. Goes to his left. Back heel looking for Guimaraes. Runs into the tackle of Doan. Cunha on the left. Low curling pass. Fist into the feet of Casemiro. First time layoff to Gabriel. Across it comes to Paqueta. Paqueta just scoops one into the penalty area. Well read by Tomiyasu. Took 2 steps to his right and won the header. Here come Japan on the counter-attack, and this is where they could be lethal in the rest of this game. Junior Ito caught up in the end, but he's held onto the ball and he's won a throw-in for his team.
Yeah, we've got so many players back behind the ball. Junior Ito and it driving from inside his own half, looking around to see if there's a teammate up with him, but there wasn't. But he's won his team a throw-in.
Carlo Ancelotti chewing his gum furiously at the moment, hands clasped together rather tensely. I always think he's one of the coolest customers. Be a good sheriff actually, wouldn't he, in Texas, I think, Carlo Ancelotti. I could see him striding into the saloon with the big shiny star badge on his chest. But his team are behind, trailing Japan 1-0. Still seeing lots of the ball, Brazil. Paqueta to his left to Douglas Santos. Back to Paqueta. Pushes a pass across to Marquinhos. Gets it back again, just inside the Japan half. First time ball from Casemiro to Cunha. Possibly looking for the 1-2 with Vinicius Junior. Manages to stick out a leg and get the ball back to Gabriel. Japan defenders come racing out here. Gabriel on the ball again. Goes to Santos, the left back. Back to Gabriel. Brazil trying to find a way through. Casemiro on the half turn, middle of the Japan half, thinks about the forward ball, pokes it back to Marquinhos, stroked forward to Paqueta. Vinicius is wide on the left here, receives that and lays it off and then goes trotting in towards the edge of the penalty area. Paqueta just throws his arms out in frustration, doesn't see a run, doesn't see a pass. It comes across to Casemiro.
Well, he's having words with Cunha and saying you maybe need to play a little bit higher up.
Here's the layoff to Cunha, hits the shot, not enough on that. Suzuki, comfortable save, straight at him.
Maybe saying you need to play a bit higher up with the ball when it's fizzed into Paqueta, 25 yards out from goal, back to goal, just lays the ball to Cunha. But you're right, wasn't balanced, stretching when he got the shot off.
Taniguchi clears for Japan. They lead 1-0 if you are just joining us on BBC Radio 5 Live.
I just wonder that since they've scored, and it's not like they were over-ambitious the way they were playing anyway, Japan, but can you keep giving the ball back to a Brazilian team and keep encouraging wave after wave of attack? They have some talented players, don't they? And here's one, Ryan.
Yeah, the 19-year-old Ryan of Bournemouth has already scored for his country. This only his 5th cap. Back it comes here to Gabriel, and again Gabriel can't see what he wants ahead of him. The Japan defence, midfield, so brilliantly organised and well marshalled. Danilo to Gabriel. All of the football being played inside Japan's half at the moment, but they lead Brazil 1-0. Skill from Vinicius, moves away from his man, across it comes to Casemiro, poor touch. Maeda nips in for Japan and off he goes, and this boy can run. Chased by Paqueta, who tackles him.
He just needs to remember the ball at times. So he's got that pace, hasn't he, but left the ball behind him. That would have been an interesting race, because Gabriel, he isn't a slouch, is he?
No. 6 minutes left in the first half, plus added time. 5 times world champions Brazil, 1-0 down against Japan. Ito, back to Suzuki. Japan, who've only ever beaten Brazil once in 14 games. That game was in Tokyo in October. Otherwise, 2 draws, 11 defeats.
Gabriel has absolutely clattered Daisa Maida there. Off the ball.
Maida picks himself up. Referee happy for the game to continue. I think Cunha might have been able to turn on that there, but Brazil have worked it out wide to the left. Here's Vinicius. Saved Brazil in the first game against Morocco. From that position on the left, got it onto the right foot and whipped it round the keeper into the goal. He's too far away from goal at the moment to do that, but he's the man they'll look to. Marquinhos strides forward, ball at his feet. Comes out to Danilo. Back to Bruno Guimaraes, running across the face of the Japanese penalty area, but a good 35 yards from goal. Paqueta wide to Santos. Cunha gets involved. Pinging the first time, passes around. Paqueta's cross from deep, beyond everyone. Suzuki comes, claims and says, thank you very much.
No, it's not a good crossing position. I think it's too central there and just tried to force that Paqueta. Brazilian boys getting frustrated.
Nakamura passes back to Kamada. I'm thinking maybe in some of the previous World Cup knockout games there might have been a sort of inferiority complex possibly from Japan and some of their players, but it's definitely not that here. They know exactly what they're capable of and they are proving it at the moment. Junya Ito out wide to Doan, who's done very little on the ball. I mean, we haven't really talked about Japan passing possession, but they have the goal. Taniguchi inside his own half. Crystal Palace's Daichi Kamada, number 15 on his back. Oliver Glasner describes him as a big game player. And Japan at the moment have 11 big game players out there right now. Tomiyasu side puts the pass to Doan. Doan scampers infield, back to Tomiyasu. Wide it comes to Doan. Junya Ito is there. Back to Doan. Doan takes it down the right here. Chased by Paqueta, turns, pass takes a deflection. Cunha's there for Brazil, bumps into his own man again, and that's gone out for a Japan throw. Referee doesn't know, and the assistant referee's got it. See him over there. Yellow flag, got lost there for a second in amongst all the yellow shirts behind him. Although I know Chris is now going to say it's a yellow and orange flag, so don't make excuses.
Good little spell that for Japan, though, just keeping the ball, popping it around Brazil, not really going anywhere.
Can Japan get themselves a second, my word, before half-time? Then they really are in business. Doan to Junya Ito. Ito's cross looking for the run of Maeda in between 2 Brazilian defenders. Headed away. Kamada gets the first touch. Hiroki Ito, the left-sided centre-back. Another cross. Comes into the far post. Glancing header away. And Doan just lets that go. Lifts his leg because he knows that's going out for a Japan throw on the right.
Yeah, Douglas Santos, who had to get a connection on the balls. Good ball in from the left-hand side.
Famous Douglases is not one we've played on our long car journeys out here just yet. That could be for one for after this game on the long drive to Dallas. Ball comes back for Japan. Nice turn from Tomiyasu, fooled Cunha. Midway inside the Brazilian half, infield to Sano. Sano on the dribble again. Well, I think that's a foul. He goes tumbling over the challenge from Guimaraes. The referee allows play to continue. Japan might have wanted that free kick. That was in a shooting position. They'll continue the attack down the left. Here's Nakamura. Not been heavily involved actually in this first half, but he has a goal in him as well. Taniguchi. Cross here to Tomiyasu. Wide to Ito. Sano, clever layoff. Back to Ito. Ito slides the pass in, looking for Nakamura. Guimaraes read it. Brazil have given the ball away. Listen to the howls of frustration from the Brazilian fans all around us. We've got minute plus added time remaining. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Story developing in Houston. Second knockout game of the tournament. Always looked tough for Brazil. They are trailing Japan by 1-0. And it's Japan who are controlling the ball late in the first half. Kamada floats a pass out to Junya Ito. First touch, thinks about the cross, then goes running at his man, brings it to the edge of the area. Left-footed shot is blocked. Chance for Brazil to come away. Guimaraes definitely caught by Kamada. Yellow card and free kick for Brazil. But I think Japan will be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the two central midfield players for Japan who have been booked. It's a good touch from Bruno Guimaraes to just get the other side of Kamada. Vinicius Junior was in that central striking position, looking for a ball through. So yeah, you'd say good foul from Kamada.
Brazil have taken their free kick. Gabriel is creeping forward with the ball at his feet. Added time will come up on the board any second now. Japan leading 1-0 through Kaishu Sano's first ever goal for his country. Cross into the Japan penalty area. Goalkeeper's off his line. Lob header is deflected wide of the target, and Brazil claim that's a corner. Referee, no, doesn't agree. An assistant referee also points for a goal kick. 4 minutes of added time. And Brazil, in terms of the tale of woe at recent World Cups, so since winning it in 2002, they've only reached the semi-finals once in the last 5. That one was a nightmare in Belo Horizonte when they lost 7-1 to Germany. Otherwise, they've reached the quarter-finals at the other 4. And as I keep reminding you, last time they went out in the first knockout round was back at Italia 90. Doesn't happen very often to the boys from Brazil. They're in trouble here against Japan. Kamada, inside left channel, 40 yards from goal, rolls the ball back towards him, encouraging Brazil to step out. Nakamura on his right foot, passes back to Kamada. Kamada across to Taniguchi, just over 3 minutes to play. Tomiyasu, well, that's off target. Poor pass from Tomiyasu, straight out of play. Ito didn't have a chance to control that, throwing for Brazil in their left back position. Carlo Ancelotti continues to chew, although the eyebrows currently remain firmly in place. Paqueta's hoisted clearance bounces. Kamada heads it back into his own half. Tomiyasu nods it forward. Kamada's there, 4 headers in a row there, and then flicked forward by Doan. No one can be bothered to chase that for Japan. They'll take a breather. Gabriel will go and collect it. 2 minutes left in the first half.
And the longer this half has gone on, there was a bit of a response after the goal from Brazil, really pushing Japan back, but Japan have looked the team more comfortable as we get closer to half-time. That probably means Brazil will score now, I've said that.
Not got long left in the first half to do it. Casemiro to his right finds Marquinhos, so all the play now has moved to our right. We've moved into the Japan half here. Brazil have the ball. Gabriel cross to Casemiro, deepest of the Brazilian players. Left-footed short pass to Marquinhos. Marquinhos just tiptoeing forward, looking for an option. But it's stationary players in the yellow shirts ahead of him.
He's asking for a bit more movement, isn't he, Marquinhos?
This time Gabriel straight through to Paqueta. Turns, tries to find Vinicius. Couldn't get there cleared.
Yeah, great players that they are, the Brazilians. It's so congested in there, isn't it? It's so tight. That's where Japan are enticing Brazil to play through that central area. We've got enough bodies in there, we can deal with it.
Guimaraes, crossfield ball, last minute of the first half. Brazil 0, Japan 1 at this World Cup. Winners to go through to face Ivory Coast or Norway. Another cross into the Japan penalty area. Ito chests it down, spins, volleys it away to the halfway line. As Chris said, after the goal, Japan had a plan, and they are executing that plan quite brilliantly. Danilo, powerful header into the Japan penalty area. Maeda's back there to chest the ball down, plays it back to the byline. Nakamura steps in, swings a right boot at it, pass to Ito, volleyed forward to Ueda, and Marquinhos takes care of Ueda there. He had a lot to do because Gabriel was covering as well, and so Brazil get the ball back. Last knockings of the first half. Carlo Ancelotti knows the whistle is about to go because he's out of his seat, his arms are crossed, and he's already ready to head to the tunnel, and he is going to need to inspire his Brazilian team, because at half-time they trailed Japan by 1-0. They dominated the ball for the first period of the game, but just before the half-hour mark, it was Kaishu Sano who spotted the moment and pounced, won the ball high up the pitch, skinned Casemiro, and it was a fabulous finish, Chris Sutton, to beat Alisson. And Brazil they've got a spot of bother on their hands here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, because in an attacking sense, Suzuki really hasn't been overly worked. I think there was an early save which may have been going wide anyway to his right-hand side, but other than that, the Japan game plan has worked absolutely perfectly, defending with a deep 5-4 in front, frustrating Brazil, and then they caught them on the counter. And Sano, there's an argument whether he should have still been on the pitch, could have had a second yellow. The Brazil players thought so, but Japan lead. Is it such a great surprise?
That will be a talking point at the end of the game, and I'll tell you what, it looks already like there's going to be a change at half-time for Brazil, because Lucas Paqueta has gone hobbling off the pitch, and he's had to put his arms around a couple of teammates to help him off the field. So yes, Sano's sliding challenge on Cunha, which could have possibly got him the second yellow card, stayed on the field, and he's scored the goal at the moment that has Japan in front as they look to win a first ever knockout game at the World Cup. Half-time in Houston, Brazil 0, Japan 1.
Imagine being on course for your first ever win in a knockout game at the World Cup, being against the mighty Brazil. So it's been all good for Japan, more or less, across the first half, and they lead by a goal to 0. We'll be back with Alistair Bruce-Ball and Chris Sutton for the second half of this one. We're also joined, of course, by former Brazil and Liverpool midfielder Lucas Leiva. Lucas, just to rub it in, with apologies to you, but with celebrations for anybody listening who's supporting Japan in this one, let's hear how that goal sounded on Japanese radio.
さあ開始ピッチの中央ドリブルシュートゴール決まったサル回収自ら決めた自らピッチの中央ドリブルで持ち込んでシュート決まった前半の28分から29分日本サル回収ゴール
So while the Japan celebrations continue apace, Luca, from a Brazil's point of view, the timing of this goal, in terms of the tournament into which Brazil were growing and the game in which it felt at that point Brazil had some degree of control.
I'm glad I couldn't understand a word of the of the celebration, but yeah, it was Brazil had the control of the ball. I would say played the most of the half in Japan's half, but didn't create as much chances. We were talking a little bit about playing wide and putting some crosses. We know we don't have a target man now with Cunha, but they will have to change something, otherwise it doesn't look like Japan will let the ball go into the middle, through the middle. So maybe Igor Thiago coming on, I don't know, but I'm really worried, because Brazil will have to change the way they are playing, otherwise they will not create chances to equalize.
But what's been interesting in their World Cup so far is that they haven't really done a full 90-minute performance. They have had brilliant moments, but they've either tailed off in the second half and they've taken a little while to get into the game. Do you sense that there is more to come from this Brazil side in the second half?
I hope so. I hope they come back in a different way. Like I said, they had the ball, they controlled, but you would like to see more people in the box. We only had a couple of shots from outside, so it's not enough. So I don't know. Let's see what Ancelotti will do it, but I would look to bring some more players that to fill the box. Danilo, the center midfield Danilo, could be a possibility, because he gets in the box and don't get too much exposed defensively. And let's see Casemiro as well. He's on the yellow card, so really dangerous. I think that's why he didn't tackle, for the first goal. So let's see what the second half comes.
Lucas, lovely talking to you as always. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry we couldn't leave you on a more upbeat note, but it has been lovely. Thank you very much to Lucas Leiva. We will be back for the second half of that game very shortly, and we'll round up the rest of what's been a very busy day of sport after the BBC News with Jill Mackenzie.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK and the FIFA World Cup 2026.
The British Medical Association says resident doctors in England have accepted an offer from the government to improve pay and working conditions, ending 3 years of industrial action. The deal includes more funding for training places. The Health Secretary is James Murray.
This helps to move us forward from a cycle of ongoing strikes, which have been going on for far too long and have cost the country billions of pounds. The cost of the offer on the table is less than the cost of another week of strikes, so it's good value for money for taxpayers, as well as being good news for NHS staff and, crucially, for patients, because it means we can now work with resident doctors to build an NHS that is fit for the future.
Police in Germany say a sixth person has died after a shooting at a youth welfare centre in Stade, near Hamburg. All the victims were adults. One person's been arrested and 2 more are being investigated. Andy Burnham's promised good growth in every postcode if he becomes Prime Minister. He wants to rebalance power across the UK and promised to build more council houses, rethink education and cut the welfare bill. Our political editor is Chris Mason.
What strikes me is this is about process, this is about structures of government, and obviously they do matter, but they're in the service of outcomes, aren't they? And how quickly can a Prime Minister, assuming he becomes that in 3 weeks' time, which looks very likely, how quickly can he point to these changes delivering in a era where the patience of the electorate, as we know, is incredibly short?
Former Conservative MP Craig Williams has pleaded guilty to cheating at gambling by placing bets on the date of the 2024 general election. The 41-year-old was an aide to the then Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at the time. Last week's heatwave was hotter than previously thought. The Met Office says it's had updated information showing a high of 37.7 Celsius on Friday in Lingwood in Norfolk, rather than the 37.3 seen in Suffolk. And theatres in London's West End will dim their lights on Wednesday as a mark of respect for Dame Penelope Keith, who's died at the age of 86. She was best known for her TV roles in To the Manor Born and The Good Life, where she played busybody Margot.
Jerry, if you want me to fall down the stairs, why don't you just trip me up or loosen the stairlights or simply throw me bodily down and have done with it?
Don't tempt me.
Penelope Keith's co-star Felicity Kendall described her as a comic genius. That's the news. Orna Merchant has the travel now.
Jill, thank you. I'm just looking at the M8. So Edinburgh queues on the eastbound side at Junction 1 for Hermiston Gate. It's a breakdown. It's in one of the lanes. There are queues because of the Redriff Bridge, which has been closed in Gateshead. Police are dealing with an incident and both directions affected. The M6 in Cheshire northbound at 19 Knutsford. Something blocking one of the lanes towards the Lim interchange at Junction 20. Anti-clockwise queues on the M25 is still there at the Dartford crossing. It's just before it where the road surface repairs are taking place. 2 lanes have been closed. Anti-clockwise queues along the bottom still there. That was a broken down van at Godstone at Junction 6, but all lanes have reopened. The M20 and westbound Junction 2 at Rooton Brands Hatch is where 2 lanes are closed for repairs. The A39 in Cornwall at Trewassa, a vehicle caught fire. They closed the road for recovery near the A395, and the A40 in Abergavenny is closed because of fallen power cables at the Hardwick roundabout of the A465. Orna Merchant, 5 Live Travel.
Throughout the World Cup, 5 Live Breakfast is coming to you live from the USA.
Amazing, great atmosphere. We stood up the whole game.
I was so excited, and yeah, it was just awesome to see them win.
Wake up about 12:30. Yeah. Listen to half an hour of build-up, of course, on 5 Live.
Now we get down to the serious business of what is going to happen on the football pitch tonight.
They always tend to come to the party when they need to come to the party.
5 Live Breakfast.
Ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup 2026
with Kelly Cates
on 5 Live Sports.
We will get more live World Cup commentary from Houston very shortly, where Japan are leading Brazil by 1-0 at half-time. In the meantime, we're going to round up the rest of the day's sports stories. Ben Stokes' final England match ended with a loss after England were beaten by 160 runs today at Trent Bridge in the series decider with New Zealand. Here is the retiring England captain.
There's been a series of unfortunate events happen, which, I'm sure over the next couple of weeks you'll be able to maybe decompress and say it's probably, has it contributed? Maybe, but there's an overriding fact where over the last 6 to 12 months where I think that just everything that I've sort of done over a long period of time has taken its toll. And as I said yesterday, being in this role as captain, as good as it is, as exciting as it is, and as a bigger honour as it is, there is some negative effects to doing it, and I guess that's the unfortunate side that people don't always get to see.
Are you really going to sit on the sofa next summer watching the Ashes from home?
I mean, I don't know how we've gone from yesterday, I guess, asking me about the Ashes
pushing you on
year.
Come on. Don't flannel. Are you really going to sit on the sofa and watch the Ashes?
Over the next year, I'm not sure of, physically, I won't be able to be in shape to be able to rock it out there and play.
You'll be playing for Durham, won't you?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Look, I guess again, people can say what they want to say. They can have an opinion about everything they want to do. But look, I am incredibly content with everything right now. I'm done, mate.
That was Ben Stokes with Jonathan Agnew. It's day one of Wimbledon. Pat Cash is with Gigi Salmon, and Gigi, Yannick Sinner was in action today.
Yeah, he certainly was, Kelly. And I think, Pat, can we put down his 5-set win over Mirmit Kecmanovic down to a little bit of rust? Because this is the first time he's played on the grass this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's always a nervous time when you come out defending champion. Fresh grass court, he was just absolutely rusty. This is his first proper match on the grass, and Kecmanovic is a heck of a player. I mean, he's he was ranked around 30 in the world, really clean ball striker, and Yannick made a lot of mistakes. I mean, he was in a bit of trouble there, 2-1 down, but he fought on as we expect him to, and. He came good. He came good, winning the last 2 sets pretty comfortably. So it's probably not what the coaching staff would want. They would want a heart attack on the first round, but it's kind of what he needs. He kind of needed a match, get involved and get a tough match and get some practice out of that session. It's kind of what he needs when he's so rusty.
Kelly, I think the tournament breathed a massive sigh of relief that they did not lose the defending champion in the world, number one, on day one.
However, they have lost Cameron Norrie.
Oh, Kelly, it's been a bad day for the Brits. I should say we've just lost a couple in recent moments. Hannah Klugman has lost, as has Mimi Zhu. And that is, I heard him speaking earlier, Pat, that Cam Norrie losing to the qualifier Michael Zheng. That's 6 defeats in a row now for Norrie.
Yeah, I mean, players' careers have ups and downs. Michael Zheng is. I was out at qualifying with a player, and we practiced with him, and I knew him as he's a very good player. And the players who come through qualifying, they had 3 tough matches, and they're really, they're really match toughened. They're used to playing on the grass. For Cam. His form's a little bit down at the moment. It would seem like a really bad loss to lose to a qualifier, but in actual fact, there's no bad players out here, as we know. So, disappointing for Norrie and the British fans, and I'm sure Cam will come back strong in the next few months, but it's a disappointing loss.
Kelly, that's 9 Brits down today of the 11 that started. 1 on court, 4-1 down at the moment, and 1 still to come.
Gigi, thank you very much, I think, and to Pat Cash as well. Now, this afternoon, Manchester City confirmed that Enzo Maresca will succeed Pep Guardiola as their new manager. He signed a 3-year contract. Sources say that City will have to pay Chelsea £17 million, but neither club has confirmed the final settlement figure. Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer joins us. Guillem, we've been expecting this one, but what's been interesting is to hear everybody's side to how this has transpired. And what Maresca has said is that while this is a huge challenge, he's going into a club where he feels that everything is set up for him for success. He's very much looking forward to this.
Isn't it an intelligent decision if you think from the point of view of a transition from years of success to somebody that knows the club, that knows the style, and will continue with the style? And I'll tell you more, I'll be very surprised if Pep Guardiola has not had a say in this. Of course, he would just be asked about it. And what he would tell you, possibly, is the story of when they first met, when Enzo Maresca went to see Pep Guardiola. And generally, Guardiola either shakes your hand and moves on, has a coffee with you if he likes you, or have lunch and then dinner. And that's the kind of thing that happened with Enzo Maresca. He has an expression for those people that he can learn from as much as listen to, and vice versa, which is that he's got a great touch. Aquest la toca in Catalan. And he felt the same with Enzo Maresca as he did with others that could have evolved the football of Manchester City, like I would say Luis Enrique, Vincent Kompany, or perhaps Roberto De Zerbi. But Enzo Maresca, as I said, knows the club, knows players, and he just fits in so well, doesn't it?
He does fit in well, and it does have that continuity, like you say. We were talking to a Manchester City podcaster a little bit earlier on, and he was saying of the City fans that he's been talking to, they're actually not too worried about continuing the Guardiola style of football. There is a section of City fans who are looking forward to something different after 10 years. What will Enzo Maresca bring that is very different for somebody who, on the one hand, does feel like the continuity appointment?
So it's not good to win a lot in that way. And by the way,
I made the point, Guillaume. I made the point.
I know. But also, what Pep Guardiola were they talking about? The Pep Guardiola at the beginning, the one in the middle, or the one at the end? Because he has been also an evolution. You're talking about somebody that understands the style. By the way, remember that this squad has been built because of that style. And style that has to do with possession, with pressure high, with high tempo, with using the wings. And that will certainly continue. But this style is something like the Transformers. So they move in different directions. The essence remains the same. And if there is one brain that can evolve that's certainly Enzo Maresca, who has come in not just as a head coach, but as a manager. He's taking decisions related to players that come in and go out. So it has to be that way to mold the squad to what he is. What he wants to put on practice. And one thing I will tell you as well is that players love him because he makes them better. So he's not just somebody that has got the bigger picture, if you like, but also the little details, which he worked so hard on that treble season with next to Pep Guardiola, and did so as well at both Leicester and Chelsea.
Guillaume, for now, thank you very much. They're about to get underway. The second half in Houston, where Japan are leading Brazil by 1-0 as we head into the next 45 minutes. In the company of Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, we could be on the way for a fairly seismic World Cup shock. And when I say that, Chris, I don't necessarily mean the form of the two teams. I just mean Brazil's standing in the game and the expectation that everyone has of Brazil at a World Cup. If Japan get the job done here, there will be a lot of people surprised by that. I don't think you will be particularly surprised.
Well, you've obviously read my BBC predictions. I went for Japan win. But no, you're right in terms of it being Brazil at a World Cup. If they did get knocked out in the last 32, it would be humiliation in Houston, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. So Brazil trail 1-0 at half-time. You can hear the countdown inside the Houston Stadium, entertained by the mariachi band, the Houston Texans mariachi
loud,
band.
Weren't they?
At half-time. Quite our ears might get a little rest. They really do boom it out pre-match, half-time, after the game. Right, Endrick is on for Brazil. Straight onto the ball immediately, the 19-year-old. Endrick dribbling, passes to Cunha. Back it comes to Ryan. Ryan, just outside the Japanese penalty area, works it to his left. Vinicius' cross into the far post. Suzuki reads it well, leaps high, catches, and falls to the floor. So, yeah, must say that, Chris. Lucas Paqueta, we thought he was coming off. He hobbled off at the end of the first half. And they've gone for 19-year-old Endrick, who was playing club football at Lyon on loan from Real Madrid. Does have an international goal or two to his name, most notably against England at Wembley in 2024. Now he's on at the World Cup, but it's Japan coming forward this time with Nakamura. Junior Ito was making a little run into the penalty area. Nakamura tried to find him, the pass was blocked. Early cross comes in from the left to the far post. Ueda went for it, might come to Doan.
Just wasn't ready, was he, Doan? He's on his heels at the far post. The ball goes to safety, actually. That was half a chance.
Just wondering how Brazil are going to line it up,
looks like
Chris.
We're a long way up here, but I think Endrick has gone as a central striker, and then Taz Cunha, he's so adaptable, isn't he? I mean, he barely played as a striker in the first half, always dropping deeper, trying to knit things together from a Brazil point of view.
Brazil in the famous yellow shirts, blue shorts, white socks, playing from right to left in the second half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, live in Houston. We'll be live in Boston for Germany-Paraguay later on in the last 32. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin will bring you commentary of that. It kicks off at 9:30 UK time. So Brazil then, second half lineup as follows. Alisson in goal, Danilo, Marquinhos, Gabriel, Douglas Santos, Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield, and as Chris was just explaining, Matheus Cunha in behind, Ryan on the right, Vinicius Junior on the left, and Endrick through the middle. Vinicius on the dribble for Brazil, brings the ball infield from the left-hand touchline. Endrick looks for the layoff down to Bruno Guimaraes. Japan get bodies in the way. Maeda comes sprinting away with the ball at his feet and is eventually knocked over on the halfway line by Danilo, and Danilo will get a yellow card for the challenge.
Yeah, and the Japan tactic should get the ball out left to Daisen Maeda there. He is absolutely rapid. Drawing the foul, drawing the free kick. Danilo, perplexed look on his face, but Maeda had got away from him and it hauled him down.
Martin O'Neill described Daisen Maeda's finish to the season for Celtic as they went on to win the double as Larson-esque, referencing Chris's former strike partner.
Bit disappointed he didn't mention me.
Sutton-esque. Scored 9 goals in 7 games as Celtic won the double under Martin O'Neill. Japan lead Brazil 1-0 here. Japan have Zion Suzuki in goal, Tomiyasu, Taniguchi and Hiroki Ito as the back three. Ritsu Doan the captain, Kaishu Sano the goal scorer alongside Daichi Kamada in central midfield. The ball has gone out of play here for a... Well, Brazil thought they were getting a throw, but it's actually a foul on Tomiyasu by Cunha.
Well, they get away with one. Cunha put Tomiyasu under pressure. Tomiyasu with a heavy touch, letting it get away from him. And Cunha did... there was a bit of contact, not that much.
Sano and Kamada, central midfield, Nakamura on the left, and then Junya Ito, Daisen Maeda and Ayase Ueda of Feyenoord as the centre forward. Trying to get onto the ball here, he's got Gabriel wrestling him. Ueda does so well to hold him off. Casemiro steps forward, plays a ball into Endrick's path, and Endrick looks for Vinicius, and his pass just ahead of him, which meant Suzuki was able to come out to the edge of his 6-yard box and gather it.
Yeah. He's built a little bit like a bull, isn't he? Endrick has that physicality, low centre of gravity. Trying to find Vinicius Junior there, but heavy with the pass.
Maeda on the left, Junya Ito trying to get up with him. Marquinhos does really well to stick with Maeda. Alisson clears with his right foot, only as far as Kamada. Kamada across here to Doan. Doan is forced backwards, looks for a pass down the right-hand touchline. Sano have made the run, now it's flicked in field to Kamada. Little stat flashed up on the screen there. The last time Brazil came back from trailing in a World Cup match at half-time, probably haven't trailed in that many World Cup games at half-time, I don't know how many it's been, but was back in 1978 in the third place, fourth place match against Italy.
Does that matter?
It's just information, Chris, it just brings colour, you know. You hope sometimes. Flick from Ueda. Ball rolls across the halfway line. Brazil quicker to it. Guimaraes' pass not good enough for Vinicius. Cleared again, but only as far as Douglas Santos. Vinicius gets another go. Japan's defenders backpedaling, eyes widening as Vinicius comes tearing towards them. Clever ball from Vinicius back to the edge of the penalty area to Guimaraes. Guimaraes looking for support. It comes from Gabriel, Arsenal's centre-back. Guimaraes of Newcastle working it onto his right foot. On the turn on the edge of the penalty area is Cunha. Casemiro, I beg your pardon. And here is Casemiro again. Cunha that little bit further forward. Gabriel's going to float across into the box. Not very good. Headed away by Ito, and the ball will run away for a throw in to Brazil on the right.
Yeah, they're working so hard again defensively, Japan. I mean, I did compare them with to like an army of ants. They all know what their role is, don't they, within this framework?
Yeah, all helping each other, working for the cause. Really unified squad, Japan. Vinicius' ball laid back to him by Guimaraes, 25 yards out, sees space on the right-hand side. Danilo's cross into the penalty area. Header from Guimaraes, well saved by Suzuki. Threw himself to his left, got both hands to it and palms it away.
Well, they've really loaded the box there, Brazil. And Japan getting deeper and deeper. Bruno Guimaraes, really good contact on the ball. Thunders the header from about 10-12 yards out. Danilo with the cross. And Suzuki actually comes off his shoulder more than his head. Suzuki equal to it.
Yeah, Suzuki revved up for the save. Here's Vinicius. Vinicius, low pass to the edge of the penalty area. Casemiro lets it run. Danilo with another cross. Looking for Vinicius at the far post. Headed away. Junya Ito has given it away. Early pressure building on the Japan defence in this second half. Endrick on for Brazil. They trail Japan by 1-0 in this last 32 knockout game. Vinicius gets the cross back in. Endrick tries to get the shot away. Japan do enough to scramble the ball away, but they haven't got anyone to collect it further up the field, and so it's coming straight back at them. Marquinhos walks forward with the ball at his feet, across to Gabriel. Just 7 minutes gone in the second half. Tension, drama, excitement, noise building inside this stadium. Cross comes in from the left from Douglas Santos, headed up in the air. Junior Ito jumps, nods it down. Vinicius is waiting for Brazil. Japan having never won a knockout game at the World Cup. This their 5th attempt. This against the mighty Brazil. Cross comes in from the right this time towards the far post. Headed back across goal. Oh, how's that been kept out? Hit about 2 or 3 bodies. It looked destined for the back of the net. It was a header from close range.
And here's the break.
And here come Japan on the break. Japan with Junior Ito gets the cross in. Can they get this right? Nakamura at the far post receives it. Another ball in, looks for the cross to the far post. It's beyond everyone and behind for the goal kick. And I cannot wait for the replay of the chance at the other end because Suzuki was out of position. Chris, the cross came to the far post.
Yep, cross to the far post and then header back across. That's Casemiro from 4 yards. He has to score. It hits Tomiyasu.
Hits him twice.
On the line, doesn't it? Hits him in the head, and then Suzuki makes the save. And somehow Japan scramble that to safety. How Casemiro doesn't score there, I will never know. Suzuki out of position initially. I don't know who headed the ball back across. May have been Santos. And then Casemiro, the goal gaping, and hits Tomiyasu.
Casemiro scored 9 goals for Manchester United last season, 8 of those with his head. When it lands to him, comes to him in those positions, you expect it to be in the back of the net. Here come Brazil again, cross in from the right. Doan is able to control it and turn down by the dead ball line, clears away for a throw into Brazil. But the first header hits Tomiyasu in the face, spins off him, hits the goalkeeper, comes back, hits Tomiyasu on the arm, but his arm is tucked in by his side, didn't know anything about it, and then somehow Japan managed to get it away. Highlights will be available of this game on the BBC iPlayer. That is well worth a watch, and that's the kind of thing that makes you think, well, is it Japan's day? Ryan on the right for Brazil. Will the pressure tell? Another cross comes in. Cunha with the leap this time. Glancing header goes backwards to Vinicius. Vinicius rolls the pass back to Gabriel. Gabriel's left-footed cross into the far post, headed in! Well, that was coming. It's Casemiro who won't be denied this time. Listen to the noise, the relief from the Brazilian fans. They piled the pressure on early in the second half. The cross from Gabriel was pinpoint, and Casemiro did not need a second invitation. Brazil won, Japan won.
Well, Brazil at the start of this second half, they've been brave, they've been bold, they have loaded the Japanese box and just peppered it, cross after cross after cross, and Casemiro, he'll be wondering how he didn't score a couple of minutes earlier. The textbook header at the far post, powers it into the back of the net, past Suzuki. Gabriel, little set, I think he's just onside. Casemiro feeling in behind Ito and then goes back across the goalkeeper, back across Suzuki. No chance for the Japanese goalkeeper, and Brazil level.
Could see the tactics straight away at the start of the second half. Those crosses coming in, the height advantage in the penalty area. Such good headers of the ball in this Brazilian team, but particularly Casemiro. And actually Gabriel, who scores so many with his head, it was his cross from the inside left channel that has Brazil back level. This will test the resolve of the Japan team.
Yeah, well, can Brazil keep this momentum up? Can they keep pushing Japan back? Will it be the same tactic? You know, now they've got level, will they ease off a little bit? Will Japan be braver? We've got a game on here.
Game on. Brazil won, Japan won. I hope you're enjoying it with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, your 24-hour World Cup station, combined with Wimbledon now for the next couple of weeks. Wimbledon Daily podcast available on the BBC Sounds app. So is the Football Daily podcast, recorded for you on the West Coast every day. And there for you, first thing every morning. And so many commentaries still left to come. 30 games left in this World Cup after this one. Next up, Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin for Germany against Paraguay in Boston. A game you can also watch on BBC One. Casemiro's given the ball away. Sano into Maeda. Maeda tackled by Casemiro, who the referee thinks got enough of the ball there. Maeda's down. Ball comes wide to Vinicius. What a touch! Knocks it through the legs of Tomiyasu. Stadium comes alive. Vinicius on the dribble. Beats another man. Flicks it with his right foot. Hits the post. That would have been one of the great World Cup goals. Cunha on the rebound. Smashes it high and wide. That's a goal kick for Japan.
Yeah, you say hits the post. It is a brilliant save from Suzuki, who celebrates. I'm going to nick your phrase. He's so revved up. Suzuki in the Japanese goal. Wonderful from Vinicius Junior, the run, and then drags the ball back on the inside, outside of the right boot. He thinks he scored. He started to wheel away, and somehow Suzuki flicks the ball left-handed onto the post. It is a sensational save. It really is. Vinicius Junior, he can't believe it.
That is a sizzling save from Suzuki. I love the attempted finish, Chris, because he went early with the outside of the right foot. It was an impudent flick, wasn't it?
Well, his first touch initially to get away from Tomiyasu, and then, you know, he always wants to come inside, doesn't he, Vinicius Junior, on that right foot. He drags it left, outside of the right boot, and there you go, sensational.
What a game we've got on our hands here in Houston. Ueda chasing forward for Japan, up to the edge of the Brazil penalty area, holds on to the ball. Finds Doan, low pass, Ueda on the turn, trying to tee himself up for a shot. Brazil appealing for a handball, referee says play on. It's back with Alisson.
Had Doan been cuter there and got his head up, I think it was Nakamura, Keito Nakamura, the other wing back from Japan at the far post, who was as free as a bird.
Canada beating South Africa in the first knockout game yesterday. This is the second of the last 32. First time we've ever had a last 32 at the World Cup. Of course, extra time and penalties if required to decide it. Brazil taking way too long to get the ball away. And look who comes chasing, Maeda.
The best in the world at shutting down. I mean that. I've never seen anybody like him. He's a one-man closing down machine.
Nearly caught Gabriel with the clearance from the back. Ball is headed forward. Need the fella in front of us to sit down or stand a little bit further back, otherwise we're going to struggle to see this action in the second half. Free kick for Brazil, which they take inside their own half. 1-1.
Been a good response, hasn't it, from Japan since the goal?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Japan will not be cowed. They will not be daunted. And actually what the managers do with their squads and the substitutions later in the game will make a massive difference here. Ancelotti's out on the side of the pitch, shouting at Vinicius as he passes the ball infield to Guimarães. That pass is threaded through the inside left channel but runs all the way through for a goal kick. We've seen the shots of Neymar, 34-year-old Neymar, warming up down there for Brazil. Quite unusual actually before the game. You know, when they split off into the subs and the actual starting 11, and you're watching them warm up and you see Neymar in amongst the subs at a Brazilian World Cup. Just not used to seeing that, but that's his role now in this squad. Plays his club football for Santos now in Brazil. There was some debate as to whether he'd make the Brazilian World Cup squad, but he is here and he will be there if required. 16 minutes gone, second half. Fabulous game so far. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Casemiro with the equaliser. Japan coming back to their goalkeeper here, Suzuki. Ryan's got speed, comes racing towards him. Suzuki clears with his right foot. Ueda jumps. Gabriel's missed his header. Maeda's in at speed. Alisson comes off his line bravely, throws himself at the feet of Maeda and grabs it for Brazil.
You know, Ueda, the Japanese centre forward, isn't the biggest, but when the ball has gone long, he uses his body superbly well. Daisa Maeda will do that, try and feed off to scraps, and he's not far away from picking up the flick.
Back to Alisson. In these black currant colours, the Brazilian goalkeeper, the thin white headband, tying back long, sweaty, dark hair. He's got the ball trapped under the studs of his right boot, and he's just sort of twirling his right arm in the air. Crikey, Maeda's nearly blocked the clearance. Well, he has got a foot on it. Guimarães heads it away. And luckily for Brazil, they work it out to the left-hand side, and suddenly an attack opens up with Vinicius. Vinicius gets it back here from Santos. Vinicius is in the mood now. Cunha flicks it back into midfield. Guimarães saw Maeda coming at great speed again towards him, turns away from him. Danilo, low pass to Ryan, now Cunha, back to Ryan. Ryan moving into that Japanese penalty area, holds on to it well, good feet. Cunha again, too many white shirts in the way to try a shot on goal. Ryan's there for support, floated across to the far post. Suzuki, big lead, good stretch, and catches the ball cleanly for Japan. Brazil 1, Japan 1.
Good goalkeeping. We haven't seen too much of Ryan, have we, in this game? But the dancing feet of him with the drag back, getting away from Ito, and then popping the cross in. But Suzuki pouncing well and catching the ball.
Tomiyasu's ball to Sano, who was Japan's goal scorer in the first half. 1-2 with Kamada. Sano again. Tomiyasu. Vinicius is about 7-8 yards away, just saying, go on then, see if you can knock it past me. Tomiyasu takes it away to his left. Passes back to Taniguchi, the middle of the three centre-backs. Ito, low ball forward towards Maeda. Marquinhos breathing down his neck, does really well to turn him and fire it in behind for Ueda, who is onside. Ayase Ueda, the centre forward, into the Brazilian penetrator. Tries it early, hits it hard at Alisson, tries to catch him out at the near post. Alisson gets his body behind it, the ball comes spinning away, and Alisson quickly scampers along the byline to pick it up.
And there's a good run from Ueda, and Daisen Maeda holding the ball up well on the half turn, sliding the ball into Ueda in the left-hand channel. He's on the corner of the box, isn't he? Corner of the 18-yard box, and thinks, I'm going to thrash this at you, Alisson Becker. Can you keep it out? And it was comfortable in the end, wasn't it?
Here come Brazil. Casemiro to Douglas Santos. Another Brazilian change coming shortly here. Might be Martinelli, if I've got the number right there. Name and number just slightly hidden by the top of the dugout, way down beneath us inside the Houston Stadium. But it does look like Martinelli, number 22. Gabriel's ball to the left. Vinicius. Back here to Casemiro. Marquinhos, 40 yards from goal. Low to the right to Ryan. Ryan brings it infield on his left foot. Guimarães passes back to Gabriel. Slow at the moment from Brazil, but they've got themselves back in the game. Vinicius, little ball forward. Santos is cut back, cleared away by Sano. First time, doesn't mind where that's going, and out it goes for another throw into Brazil on the left. So here comes the change. Cunha's coming off, Chris, and Martinelli is coming on to replace him. So Mateus Cunha comes racing off, clenches his left fist, sort of turns to his teammates and says, come on, complete the job, lads. And Japan waiting to make a double change. So coming on for Japan, we are going to see Junosuke Suzuki, who wears the number 25. He comes on for Nakamura, and Yukinari Sugawara is coming on for Doan, and that is a like for like on the right-hand side. But I think Suzuki, so there's two Suzukis in the team now, goalkeeper Suzuki and Junosuke Suzuki, who plays his club football for Copenhagen, I think has made one substitute appearance so far in this World Cup. Came against Tunisia in the 4-0 win. So changes made by both managers. And we have played just over 20 minutes of the second half here in Houston. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Douglas Santos, Brazil's left back.
Martinelli, the position he's taking up, you don't often see Arsenal play him on the inside. Vinicius Junior will play wide on that left-hand side.
Martinelli ball at his feet, 35 yards out. Pass across to Danilo, quickly wide to Ryan. Ryan takes on Suzuki, who's just come on for Japan, and is over there patrolling that left flank. So doing the job that Nakamura was doing in the first half. Didn't have quite as much influence in the game, Nakamura, as we've seen him have previously for Japan. And the game is just simmering here at the moment. Here's Martinelli. Martinelli, awkward for Casemiro to control. Just about did that. Looking for Ryan again. Ryan against Suzuki. Whips that cross in with his left foot. Doesn't beat the first man. Headed high across the midfield. Martinelli nods it back beyond his Arsenal teammate Gabriel, who has to turn and go striding back towards the halfway line to get the ball. Turns, finds Martinelli outside of his right foot, up towards Endrick. Layoff here comes to Santos. Now Casemiro, chip ball over the top into the penalty area. Endrick jumps, he's down on the floor. Referee's got a clear view of that, wags his finger and says no danger of there being a penalty there.
Yeah, the referee saying get up on your feet. Hendrick, Tomiyasu was just wrong side for a moment. Is that the old hydration break?
Yeah, time for a drink, Chris, here in the Houston Stadium. The game in the last few minutes is just sort of settling itself. Both managers have made the changes. It's 1-1. So much to play for here. A place in the last 16. Japan looking for that first ever knockout win in the World Cup. Winners will go through to face Ivory Coast or Norway, who play in Dallas tomorrow. Chris and I will take a drink as well. While we do that, we'll head back to Wimbledon and get the latest from Gigi Salmon.
And I think they're about to take a break and have a drink here on centre court, because Novak Djokovic, the 24-time Grand Slam singles champion, 7 of those here at Wimbledon, is a game away against Wu Yibing for wrapping up this first set. Only been on court for 29 minutes. Been a really good and fast start for Novak Djokovic, who very shortly will serve it. On a Brit point of view, it's not good news. We had 11 at the start of the day. 9 are out. The 2 left on court. Jack Pennington-Jones is a set down to Brandon Nakashima, who recently got to semi-finals at Queen's, and Fran Jones, who's had a really torrid year with injury and illness. She is a breakdown to the Frenchwoman Diane Parry. And the big news from here at Wimbledon today was the withdrawal of Jack Draper, but sadly and worryingly, it's a reoccurrence of the bone bruising that kept him out for nearly a year once it was diagnosed on his left forearm. He said it was a crushing blow. So Jack Draper withdrew today, and we've still got plenty of tennis to come, and you can join us over on Sports Extra.
Thank you, Gigi. Yeah, Wimbledon Daily as well. I keep plugging that for this year at Wimbledon, available via the BBC Sounds app. Daily podcast. You'll find it via the All About feed. We've got Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer booming out inside the stadium here, and they're encouraging us, Chris, here to join in with the chorus.
Yeah, well,
we're going to go for it?
No, I don't think that we necessarily can. I don't know whether that's in my contract, Bruce.
He's going to demand more money for it. We've also had a replay of the Brazil equaliser. One of the shots I loved in the crowd was of a woman who'd obviously got a half-time sandwich still sort of wrapped in the foil, half out, half in, and somehow sort of managed to hold on to it, but was waving it.
That was the important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about the goal.
Was waving it furiously in the air. So Brazil have been living dangerously. I wouldn't necessarily say living on a prayer in this game, but they've got themselves back into it. Chris, I think we've got a fascinating, well, first of all, 22, 23 minutes to come. Could easily be extra time and penalties, this.
Halfway there.
Oh, come on.
We're living on a prayer. Yeah, we have. I mean, going into this, final quarter now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Samba against the Samurai. I mean, what's going to give? It's fascinating because the way Japan are breaking on this Brazilian team, they look a threat, and then Carlo Ancelotti, he always finds a way, doesn't he? And what they have done well, especially in this second half, when they get the ball in wide areas, they just load the box.
Yeah.
They get bodies in the box, the yellow shirts. And the worry for Japan is if they get too deep, then Brazil will just pepper the box, and eventually you think Brazil will find a way. But it's impossible to call.
Yeah, game is back underway. We knew this was going to be a high quality, tense encounter. Two good teams, and at the moment they cannot be separated. Playing it different ways, and both will fancy their chances of winning this game and heading into the last 16. Gabriel on the ball for Brazil. Yellow shirts, blue shorts, white socks. I know you can picture them in your mind's eye. Japan in the white shirts, black socks. Junior Ito, strong running from midfield, knocked over. Got to be a free kick, and it is. I think referee...
Well, Carlo Ancelotti wasn't about the earlier foul. He's now out of his technical area, waving his arms at the referee, saying, well, there's a foul from Junior Ito on my player, Vinicius Junior.
You don't often see Carlo Ancelotti get as exercised as that. Heating up here under the roof in Houston. Very hot outside today. One more game to be played here in this stadium after this one. Canada will be here for their last 16 game, which will be against the Netherlands or Morocco. Junior Ito passes to Sano, looking for the run of Ueda down the inside right channel. Couldn't find him with the pass. Casemiro being chased down, hunted and harried by Maeda. I mean, look at the energy that keeps him going. He's after every Brazilian player on the ball there.
He is. He's a freak.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. He's
look
just
at him again.
Yeah.
Just cannot get rid of him. Pesky. pesky opponent, but this man is dangerous for Brazil. Vinicius into the penalty area, trying to line himself up on the right foot, went for the pass instead, couldn't find Ryan. Japan get it away. Junior Ito can't control it. Gabriel takes it off him very easily. And Casemiro takes over from Gabriel. Fabulous save from Suzuki as well to keep it at 1-1. The Vinicius effort with the outside of the right boot after he'd absolutely destroyed, torn away from a couple of defenders.
Save of the tournament so far, do you think?
Could be up there, Chris. I think so. Sharp low down to his left, just got enough on it to glance it onto the post. Gabriel, who provided the cross for the Casemiro header, wide to Vinicius. I'm sure Vinicius is going to have a say in this at some point. Gabriel's cross in again, same thing, far post, headed down and wide. Ryan with the header this time. He immediately rolls the ball out towards the corner flag as if to try and make the assistant referee's decision for him. And Bruno Guimaraes, the cheerleader again, bouncing up and down, waving his arms around, getting the Brazilian fans to make as much noise as they can and hold on to their sandwiches at the same time. 17 minutes to go, plus added time. Set piece opportunity for Brazil. Corner to come in from the right. Vinicius stands alone, very deep at the far post. That's not a good ball. Ito heads it away easily and straight out for a throw to Brazil on the right.
Just like his first corner of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, awful.
Guimaraes, you've got to clear the first man, the man standing in that near post space.
5 Live, BBC Sounds, live at the World Cup. As Gigi said, Wimbledon continues on Sports Extra right now, the great mix of sports throughout the summer, particularly when there's a major football tournament on. Open Championship not too far away either at Royal Birkdale this year. 5 Live will bring you all of that as well. Marquinhos receiving the ball in the centre circle. We've got Germany-Paraguay to come tonight, live from Boston in the company of Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. 2 in the morning, full commentary on Netherlands-Morocco. Gabriel, a couple of Japanese opponents in front of him. Passes to Marquinhos. Brazil 40 yards from the Japan goal. Martinelli in this sort of inside left tucked in role. Cross takes a deflection. That's Maeda back there who leaps high in the air and heads the ball away. Marquinhos passes to his left. Martinelli's got all the time in the world here. Referee just moves out of his way and Martinelli fires a low pacey one into the feet of Vinicius. Not interested in doing too much with that, so they're going to work it across to the right hand side of the field. And Danilo,
I think they're dropping too deep too early, Japan. It's just got the same feel of it now, where just before Brazil, Casemiro got that equaliser. They've got to engage Brazil a little bit further up the pitch.
Chris Sutton with us here in Houston. 15 minutes plus added time, and if we don't get another goal it'll be extra time and it could be penalties, and both of these teams 4 years ago exited the World Cup on penalties, both losing at the hands of Croatia. Here's Douglas Santos, halfway line on the left for Brazil. Casemiro moves into space, finds Vinicius, first touch brings him infield, curls it towards Endrick. Endrick leaps in the air, flicks a lob ball over the top of the Japanese retreating defenders. Japan were looking for an offside flag there, but Martinelli was never going to get it, and it's with Suzuki, the keeper.
Endrick getting an ear bashing there from Bruno Guimaraes. Too quick to release the ball.
Suzuki's throw headed forward there by Sugawara. Good strength from Casemiro, who has now started. He's a key man for Ancelotti, Casemiro. I think he started 15 of the 16 games.
He is key. He was a bit of a cart horse, though, wasn't he, when
he was.
Sano opened the scoring.
Guimaraes, halfway line, turns, passes to Gabriel. Gabriel comes rumbling forward, feeds Vinicius. Vinicius wide on the left, long way from goal. Head up all the time here. Ball tied to his right boot. Lays it off to Martinelli. Pushes one down the left-hand touchline. Santos decides to take a touch before swinging that cross in. Headed away at the near post. Chested down by Martinelli. Right-footed effort, bouncing ball. Curling wide of the left-hand post and behind for a goal kick.
Wasn't too far away there, Martinelli. Didn't take a great first touch as the ball was headed clear. I think Tomiyasu headed the ball clear. Takes it on his chest and then he just cuts across the ball, tries to loop it into the far corner past Suzuki. Here come another couple of subs. I know you enjoy.
Love this bit, Chris.
Substitutions.
Love this bit.
Yeah.
Shuto Machino is coming on. He plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Tanaka coming on in central midfield. Kamada is one of those to come off, and it'll come up on the big screen in a second as we wait and see who the other player to come off is. Here we go. Junior Ito off, Shuto Mashino on for Japan. 1-1 against Brazil. Last 32 of the World Cup. Last time Brazil knocked out in the first knockout round at a World Cup 36 years ago by Argentina at Italia 90. It just doesn't happen, basically. But they've got a game on their hands here. Throwing in the right back position for Danilo. Ivory Coast, Norway meet in Dallas tomorrow. The winners of that game will play the winners of this game in New York. Header won by Sano. Casemiro's got to be careful. That's it back to Alisson, got enough on it. And Alisson immediately slings it out to his left to Santos. Casemiro on the ball again for Brazil inside his own half. Floated one forward, aimed at Ryan, who leaps, can't get anything on that, tumbles to the floor and won't get a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, another flap from a Brazilian player. Ryan there looking for the award of a free kick. Never in a million years. Big strong player, but went down far too easily.
Taniguchi for Japan. Out to the left to Hiroki Ito, left-sided centre-back. On the turn, Suzuki, looking for the ball down the left to Maeda, who's still got the gas in the tank to keep going for Japan here. Casemiro wins it for Brazil, goes quickly forward to Endrick. Good tackling back by Tanaka. Tanaka's given the ball away, though. Here come Brazil down the right-hand side. Ryan, he's gone down again appeals for a free kick and doesn't get it. Maeda plays back to Suzuki, who is tackled, and that will be a Japan throw.
Yeah, if Ryan is going down, I mean, physically he is huge, isn't he? Big, strong guy. He shouldn't be hitting the deck like that. Twice in a minute or so. And they've just weathered that early sort of pressure after the hydration break. Japan got quite an open feel to this game now, hasn't it?
81st minute of it. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the World Cup. Chris Sutton here watching. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Casemiro's pass to Marquinhos inside his own half. Martinelli zipping forward, making a run in between the centre-backs. Not you, so he turns on his heels and trots back into position. Guimaraes strokes the ball out to the right to Danilo. Back to Guimaraes, who quickly moves it on to Marquinhos as Tanaka came racing in to put the pressure on. Gabriel comes forward 10 yards. 1-2 with Martinelli. Gabriel again. Vinicius right on the left-hand touchline, way down beneath us on the pitch. Tries to flick it past Sugawara there. The ball hits Sugawara. Japan clear. Marquinhos chests it down, and Brazil will try and recycle and go again.
Yeah, all the time, aren't they? As soon as the ball goes out left to Vinicius Junior, who's standing with his heels on the touchline, they get 2 players out, double up. Can't let him get Sugawara 1v1. There we go again.
Exactly what's happened. Tanaka moves in to try and help. Vinicius takes them both on. Nearly got round Sugawara there. Santos does manage to get the cross in towards the far post, headed down and away. Falls to a yellow shirt. That is Danilo. Danilo to Marquinhos, and again, the whole routine is repeated. Gabriel forward to Guimaraes, straight back to Gabriel, looking for that cross from deep. Diving header away from Taniguchi. Pressure is building on the Japan defence. 82nd minute of the game. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Martinelli, right in the middle of the Japanese half. Out to the left to Santos. Vinicius not wide this time, but is close to Santos. Receives that ball, right-footed, floated pass all the way over to the right, chested down by Danilo, and he flicks it back to Marquinhos again. And his relentless hard work and running from Japan to just keep the positions here, hold the shape, and try and keep Brazil out. And then they're going to try and save it for an explosive counter. But Brazil have got it to the left to Santos. Martinelli crosses into the penalty area. Dangerous ball, but no one can get there. Bounces once and goes behind for a goal kick to Japan. 1-1. England next in action at this World Cup on Wednesday 5 p.m. UK time against the Democratic Republic of Congo in Atlanta. So that is England's last 32 game. Full commentary, of course, on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Long ball downfield. Brazil have mopped it up and come back to the goalkeeper, Alisson. Possibly more changes coming downfield. Is that what you were pointing at, Chris, or was it this fellow he can't stay in his seat, the commentator in front of him? And I get it.
It's exciting, but he's quite tall, isn't he?
But you've got to think of others as well. There's others trying to see this game. If he stands right at the back of his commentary position, it's okay. It's when he steps forward. Here they come, Brazil, down the right-hand side. Good run, and that's a foul just outside the penalty area. Desperate challenge to try and stop Brazil getting that cross in from the right-hand side. But now the free kick just outside the box on the right. Suzuki is punished for the sliding challenge on Danilo.
Yeah, Danilo putting the burners on, and Suzuki not having the speed to keep up, and this is a great opportunity for Brazil. Right-hand side of the box, the point of the 18-yard box. Can they work something? Can they work a special set piece?
Big moment in the game, anxious moments for the Japanese fans inside this stadium. Ryan is over there. Is Guimaraes the other one? I've given his delivery. I'm not sure I'd let Guimaraes take this.
I think you shoot here, bodies across the goalkeeper's eye line. Really difficult for the goalkeeper.
Whistle blows. 19-year-old Ryan is there. Guimaraes leaves it to him. Left-footed drive and headed over the bar. Headed over the bar and behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was well defended. Right idea, I think. Left-footed from the right-hand side of the box. Ryan fires it, gets a lot of whip and pace on the ball. Actually defend it well. I think it's Suzuki,
yeah. Who gave away the free kick. Very important header. Brazil going for the tactic exactly as Chris described, just hoping to get that glance that would make it impossible for the keeper. Now a corner for Brazil. 85th minute of the game. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Ryan's delivery, low, pacey. Casemiro's flick at the near post, headed away to the edge of the box. Guimaraes chases. Finds Vinicius. Vinicius teasing defenders, running at them inside the area. Chops back onto the right foot. Guimaraes crosses with the outside of his right foot. He's overhit it. And it goes spinning behind for a goal kick to Japan. So for now, the danger's averted. Gabriel Martinelli possibly got a poke in the eye there, I think, inside the penalty area when the corner came in.
I think it's more of a right elbow in the head.
Can you poke with your elbow, Chris?
Well, stays a Maida actually. His right elbow. Yes. Taking a sore one there.
Yeah.
Martinelli saying he got caught with an elbow. It was accidental.
Bit of rough and tumble in the penalty area.
Still, he's not happy about it.
He's saying, I've been elbowed in the face, I should get a penalty.
Yeah. Got a shiner there.
Yeah. Referee Maurizio Mariani, the Italian, unimpressed. Watched him referee the UEFA Conference League final in Leipzig. And
I like the way this in this tournament the games have been reffed. No nonsense. Get up.
Ueda gets up to win a header, nods it down. Japan have it with Sugawara on the right. Maeda makes a fabulous run for him. Forward, back to goal, edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Gets the support from Tanaka. Back it comes to Sugawara. They've played in moments, Japan. Could this be another one for them? Tanaka's going to cross in with his left foot. Casemiro clears it first time on the volley with his right. Header won by Japan midway inside the Brazil half, but they've lost the next one. And suddenly Endrick gets the ball at his feet and slides the pass through, and the goalkeeper Suzuki saw the danger coming well outside his box, meets that and knocks it out of play for a throw into Brazil on the right.
Yeah, good sweeping from Suzuki. Martinelli had made the run centrally. He came out and didn't take any chances. Safe from Suzuki, just side-footed the ball out for a throw into Brazil, halfway inside the Japan half.
Playing for a place in the last 16 at the World Cup, still 1-1. Brazil 1, Japan 1. On the BBC from 5 Live, coming to you live from Houston. Ryan, difficult one for him to control. Needs help from Danilo as the ball got away from him. Back it comes to Marquinhos again. 88th minute of the game, extra time is fast approaching. Gabriel, Vinicius, short pass to his right to Santos. Gabriel again, Brazil inside the Japan half, just passing it. Player to player, left to right, wide it goes to Ryan, who's going to try and beat Suzuki. Referee says that's a free kick, that Suzuki's pushed his man over. Suzuki's already on the yellow card, but that's not a yellow card offence.
Ryan, shoulder to shoulder, Suzuki showing his strength. Another chance for Brazil to put a ball into the Japanese box.
89th minute of the game, Ryan runs over this one. Guimarães with the right foot, good cross, goalkeeper's come a long way, punches it away, needs to get back quickly here. Martinelli side foots a pass to Vinicius, opens up for Vinicius, tries the right footed shot, took a big deflection and wide it goes. I thought that might just be the moment. Corner Brazil, 1-1.
Yeah, it's a brilliant run from Martinelli, who runs around Vinicius Junior, who's on the left hand side of the box, and two defenders get drawn his way, and Vinicius Junior inside on that right foot. I think he's going to find that far corner, took a deflection.
Ryan offers himself for the short corner, gets it from Guimarães, left-footed cross from the right in towards the far post. Header is behind to Martinelli. Martinelli does well to make the pass, and Maeda comes hurtling in and very nearly won the ball, but Brazil have got it to Vinicius, left-hand side, on the dribble, beats one man, white shirts all around him, desperate to try and stop him, twisting and turning, and eventually they do enough. It's tenacious Tanaka, who gets in there, wins it, although Vinicius does so well for Brazil to go back at his man, win the ball and win the free kick.
You don't often see that, do you? He's a luxury player, Vinicius.
Vinicius with the cross, goalkeeper's called and made a good catch there, and now Japan, chance to attack down the left-hand side. 90th minute of the game. Japan coming forward. Ueda's making the run, arms out wide, wants the ball. Look at the space on the right-hand side though. Sugawara's going to get to this first for Japan. White shirts getting forward to help him. Sugawara dances past Santos. Can he get the cross in? Cut back into the area, cleared away only as far as Tanaka. Dramatic moments at the end of this game. Fourth official moving forward to the edge of the pitch, about to hold the board up here. That's Ito. Plays it to his left to Suzuki. Ito making the run behind him. Suzuki's low cross. Marquinhos deals with that simply at the near post, swipes it away. Throw in for Japan. 6 minutes, Chris, of added time.
Yeah, that's what makes it fascinating, this game. Japan pushing Brazil back there. Marquinhos using all his experience in that near post space. Right place, right time to make the clearance. Who's that down? Is that Casemiro?
I think it might be. Good spot from up here, Chris. Yeah, Casemiro sitting down inside the Brazilian penalty area. Marquinhos and Alisson standing over him. Referee's now blown the whistle and called the medical team on. Fabinho getting ready to go.
Now this would be a blow if Brazil do go through and they lose. Casemiro to injury.
Casemiro in conversation with the medical team now. Two of them there in the green polo shirts, green tracksuit bottoms.
I can't see what the injury is there, and we're no medical experts, but
not from up here, we're not, Chris.
Maybe a groin, and depends whether it's a grade 1 or grade 2.
Don't start that. Fabinho's coming on for Casemiro. You're right. I mean, it's a blow in this game, although you wonder whether he would have done 30 minutes of extra time anyway. But I think going forward further in the tournament, we were just talking 10 minutes ago about how important he is to Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, well,
I think you're
he's
right.
holding his left groin.
Left groin. Fabinho, former Liverpool man, 5 seasons there, Premier League winner, Champions League winner, waiting to come on. Casemiro, now normally you've got to be off in 10 seconds, but I think if you're struggling like he is
that would be a bit harsh, wouldn't it? If you know your legs hanging off and then you have to sprint off.
So it says we've got 4 minutes of added time left. Casemiro went down as soon as the added time started. I think we've got 6 minutes left of this game before extra time. Brazil 1, Japan 1. Germany, Paraguay. Full commentary coming your way at 9:30 tonight, live from Boston. Option there to watch the pictures on BBC One, but via the iPlayer. You got the option to listen to the 5 Live commentary as well. Then 2 in the morning, Mike Miney and Clinton Morrison will bring you commentary of Netherlands, Morocco. And then 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, Chris and I in Dallas for Ivory Coast, Norway. Good ball forward here for Endrick to chase. Bounces in front of him, controls it. Bright orange boots, 2 defenders in front of him. Not much space to work with. Down to the byline he goes. Sliding challenge comes in from Taniguchi. Brazil win a corner. Added time at the end of the game. Brazil 1, Japan 1.
Yeah, brilliant defending from the experienced Taniguchi. Endrick facing him up inside the box, trying to shift it inside on his left and then deciding to go on the outside. Taniguchi getting the block.
Tense moments at this World Cup. Japan defending the corner. Suzuki, the goalkeeper, with the world-class save to deny Vinicius at 1-1. Could get busy again here. Delivery comes from the right, deep towards Fabinho. Power on the header, but way off target, high and wide, and behind for a goal kick. So we might be preparing ourselves for the first extra time at this World Cup. And you and I, Chris, and John Southall have a long drive to Dallas after this game to get ready for Ivory Coast, Norway.
I'm just thinking about the extra time. I've loved this game. You're obviously thinking about the long drive to Dallas.
No, we can listen to Germany-Paraguay, can't we? We can listen to that one next up. Bruno Guimaraes. Cross here to Santos inside his own half. Back it comes to Gabriel. Marquinhos picks up the running for Brazil. Such an elegant ball-playing defender. Tall, lanky figure of Fabinho to Santos, the left-back. Brazil used 7 different left-backs in qualifying for the World Cup, which shows you what sort of state they were in, actually, at some point during that qualifying run. But Douglas Santos is the starter here. The USA, Canada and Mexico World Cup 2026. Santos here. Vinicius to his left. This is deep, though. This is only just inside the Japan half, and time is running out. Stopwatch says minute and a half to go. I think there'll be a little bit more than that. Marquinhos across to the right. Good little 1-2 played down the right-hand side. Cut back to the edge of the box, finds Endrick, and Endrick's off balance, and Tanaka does well to step in, but now Tanaka's lost it. Ryan's ball, Bruno Guimaraes in the D, looking to work space for the shot. Good pass, Martinelli, it's in! Suzuki got a hand to it, but this one he couldn't keep out. Japan are heartbroken, and Brazil have done it right at the end of the game. Martinelli with the side foot finish, the clever pass to find him. The 5 times world champions have found a way right at the death to squeak past Japan. Celebrations continue in front of those joyous yellow-shirted fans. Brazil 2, Japan 1. Brazil are heading through to the last 16.
Well, that's what Carlo Ancelotti teams do. They find a way to win games of football and come from behind. And it's Tanaka, I think, who gets caught. The pass from Bruno Guimaraes is absolutely gorgeous. On the edge of the box, he shapes the shoot and just fizzes a little 8-10 yard pass into Gabriel Martinelli, who kills the ball with his left foot, opens his body out, and he finds that far corner. Suzuki gets a touch on it. He may feel disappointed he doesn't make the save, but Martinelli, magnificent Martinelli, looks like he's taken Brazil through to the last 16, and Carlo Ancelotti, while the bench is going wild around him, just stands there like it's no big deal. It is a big deal. It looks like Brazil are going through.
First knockout game for Brazil under the stewardship of Carlo Ancelotti. Great drama, 1-0 down against Japan. You really feel for Japan here, and they'll keep going late in added time, but there's so little time left. Maeda's run his race, a 5th attempt at winning a World Cup knockout game, and they've been caught by Martinelli right at the end. And Chris has described that beautifully. Chris, the first touch from Martinelli, brilliant pass, but the first touch to set the shot up was just delicious, wasn't it?
It was superb from Martinelli, gorgeous from Gabriel, but the pass from Bruno Guimaraes was so clever. I think all the Japan players, Suzuki thought he was going to shoot, but he saw his teammate in a bit of space. Wonderful vision and then the finish, excellent, and it looks like enough for Brazil.
Bruno Guimaraes assist. He is now off. Danilo Santos is on. There can only be a minute to play. Great drama at the World Cup. You definitely feel for Japan. Their manager said the aim was to win the tournament this year, but it looks like they've been undone by Brazil in Houston right at the end of the game. Japan come forward. Machino lobs his pass out to the left-hand side, and the Brazilian fans desperately now calling for the final whistle. Tackle made by Ryan. Ball thumped out of play with his right foot. Last touch came off a Japanese player. That is going to be a throw-in to Brazil, who will meet the winners of tomorrow's game between the Ivory Coast and Norway, which you'll be able to listen to on 5 Live and BBC Sounds at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Martinelli at speed. Oh, the referee should have played advantage. He's given a free kick to Brazil. Foul on Hendrick. Martinelli was alert, went racing through onto the loose ball, was away and clear. Brazil, though, I think happy to have the ball and just run the clock down. They have been given, they knew they were going to get a tough game, Chris, and they've been given exactly that.
Yep, absolutely. Really enjoyed the match, and mentioned Brazil. Carlo Ancelotti. How do you win games of football? The guy's a serial winner, isn't he? That's what he does.
Ball lobbed high in the air, but this is down at the Japan end. They need to get it forward here. Taniguchi, Tanaka leaks, flicks a header backwards towards the halfway line. Smashed up in the air by Suzuki. That is a classic up and under. Machino will chase it for Japan. Oh, he's committed the foul. He doesn't agree with the referee. Throws his arms up in the air in frustration. But Marquinhos knew if there was contact, he might be able to persuade the ref to give Brazil the free kick, and I think the full-time whistle is going any second soon.
Yep. Classic experience defending from Marquinhos. Not much in that really, but as soon as there's contact, he hit the deck.
You know that Japan, as they always do, will take the defeat with dignity and decorum. They are always a joy at these major international tournaments. They really thought they had a chance today. They took the lead against Brazil, and they've been undone right at the end of the game. Ball is down in the Japanese penalty area. Played almost 10 minutes of added time here. It was a minimum of 6. Suzuki fires the ball forward, drops down on the edge of the Brazilian box. This is absolutely last chance saloon in Texas now. Flick on from Sugawara. Chance for Danilo Santos to clear. Not the best clearance. Tomiyasu gets a foot on it. It's got scrappy. Brazilian fans will roar. A clearance that is hoisted into the stands. Japan want to take their throw in. The referee's saying they're going to have to take it 20 yards further down the field. Both sets of subs, managers, coaching staff, everyone almost on the field. And here we go. Shuto Machino, I don't know what he's got in the locker here. He's going to attempt an enormous long throw, 40 yards from goal, into the edge of the box. The header is won. The referee has the whistle in his mouth and calls an end to the game. And the boys from Brazil have found a way through. In Houston, Gabriel Martinelli's late goal has seen the 5 times world champions knock out Japan in the last 32. Japan taking the lead through Kaishu Sano in the first half. Brazil on the attack in the second half, got themselves back into it with the Casemiro header. And it was a world-class goal, a fabulous pass from Bruno Guimaraes to find Gabriel Martinelli, touch and finish from him, and that is what wins the day for Brazil. Hearts broken all over Japan, but their team has done them proud once more, and you can see the reaction from the Brazilian players here, the hugging, the embracing, the joy, the smiles, the relief at just how hard they were pushed by Japan. I have to say, Chris, that the close-ups we're getting these Japanese players, they are absolutely devastated, aren't they?
Yeah, really feel for the Japanese team. The players, a lot of them hit the deck at the final whistle, slumped. They put so much into this game and ended up just losing it at the death with a brilliant pass and finish, as you've described. Bruno Guimaraes into Martinelli. But it's about finding a way, isn't it? All the experience Brazil have, enough in the tank to knock an excellent Japanese team out of the World Cup. It matters now, doesn't it? Knockout football. And when we thought it was going to go to extra time, that moment, Magic Martinelli won it for Brazil. And on to the last 16. I mean, going into the tournament, you're thinking, well, blimey, can Brazil go all the way? They weren't great in qualification, were they? But they're onto something under Ancelotti, aren't they?
They've never gone 6 World Cups without winning it, but last time was 2002, 24 years ago. This is the 6th since then. Japanese players out here being hauled to their feet by teammates to try and help them get over the disappointment. I've just seen a lovely exchange between Matheus Cunha and Ao Tanaka. Tanaka's inconsolable here for Japan, and close-ups of the Japanese fans who just look stunned. But that is what Brazil do. That's why they have this reputation, and as you say, Chris, Carlo Ancelotti, just the coolest cat in the business. Martinelli scores the goal, whole stadium goes nuts, the Brazilian fans, and Ancelotti raises the eyebrow and says, we're into the last 16. The winners will play Ivory Coast or Norway. They are in England's half of the draw. Some afternoon in Houston here, and Brazil have found a way through. They are through to the last 16. They've beaten Japan by 2-1.
Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton are watching events unfold in Houston, where the players are still on the pitch. It is absolutely full to the rafters of those yellow Brazil shirts. Everywhere you look, it is a sea of yellow, and they are all celebrating. The Japanese fans are devastated. It's so flat. They look stunned by that late winner for Brazil in that game. Look, we will talk much more about Brazil, but given that Japan's journey at this World Cup comes to an end, we should give them their credit now, because their discipline and their game plan and the way they set out in this game, Chris, was absolutely perfect, almost.
Yeah, it was, and happy to sit in, but because of the speed they have in the team, they're always going to trouble the opposition, and they did do it as a mistake, actually. From Brazil, Danilo with an errant pass into midfield, and Sano, the midfielder, stepped forward, found a bit of space. Casemiro couldn't get back at him, and he took his goal wonderfully well. And then at the start of the second half, fair play to Brazil for coming out and being as bold as they were, and they just peppered the Japanese box, and eventually you felt the equaliser was coming. But then Japan went again, and it became quite an open game. And then just as we thought it was going to peter out, and it would have been, I think, fair for it to go to extra time, because the teams are very, very closely matched. But football's all about moments, and that wonderful moment of magic from Martinelli. But terrific pass from Bruno Guimaraes, and Brazil are through, and crafty Carlo once again. That's what he does.
He has masterminded them to the quarter-final and managed to, or the team have managed to turn around that 1-goal deficit. Have to say, Ali, you've seen a lot of football in this World Cup, and it's not the easiest World Cup to follow from the UK for time zone reasons and also kick-off time reasons. But this one has been fantastic.
It has. I've really enjoyed the World Cup as a whole. The experience inside the stadiums, the games have been brilliant. But like Chris, the start of the knockout stages, Kelly, is something different because of the jeopardy. And the narrative we had here today with the pressure on Brazil, all those stats I was rolling out in terms of when they've last won the World Cup and what's expected of them as a nation, and the fact that I think Chris and I both believed, having watched a bit of Japan, not just at this World Cup but at previous tournaments, that they really had a chance of beating them here. And I think their reaction on the field, they are absolutely devastated, tells you that as well. The manager wasn't joking when he said they were coming here to try and win the World Cup. Now that would have been truly an incredible story, but a 5th go at a knockout game, to get undone like that, it almost feels unfair. It's like, those Brazilians done it again.
It is, except I'm just having a look at the statistics for the game, and look, XG and whatever people think of it, Brazil's was over 2, Japan's was less than 1, and they had far more shots. They had far more shots on target. It was a much, as you said, it was a much more even game, and Chris described it as, broadly speaking, football is a game of moments. This one in particular, though, was about the opportunity or taking the opportunities in this game, which Japan did. with the opportunity for Sano, that they led by that goal in Casemiro, and finally in the final seconds of the game, Martinelli to make it Brazil 2, Japan 1. And our South American football expert Tim Vickery joins us now. Yes, it's a victory, but that was a genuine scare for Brazil, Tim.
It was, and I'd like to impress on you the size of the humiliation that this Brazil side were facing at half-time. Brazil are, for obvious reasons, they're tradition snobs. The idea of being knocked out, not in the quarterfinals, not in a round of 6, in a round of 32 against a team from Asia. Now, that's absolute, even if it's unfair, because I think of all of the teams that Brazil had, as group winners could have faced in this round, Japan were the most dangerous to them. But even so, these players were facing a historic humiliation. And, well, Chris and Alex have been talking there about Ancelotti. And he made his change. He had to make a change because Lucas Paquetá was carrying an injury. He might have made the change anyway. But I'm sure everyone, not only in Brazil, and everyone in Brazil, but many all around the world were saying, Carlo, mate, you've got to take off Casemiro. You've got to. What's Casemiro doing coming out for the second half? And sometimes, we've seen this with Real Madrid, sometimes Ancelotti's greatest ability is to do nothing. An oasis of calm in all of the chaos around him. And it's paid off for him again this time.
Yeah, just holding his nerve, because Casemiro not playing particularly well on a yellow card. Lots of talk about bringing him off at half-time, and obviously he scores the equaliser in the goal. And yet, the equalising goal. Just with the drama of that late goal, and you talk about that oasis of calm, the composure to set up that chance and the finish from Martinelli shows that maybe the experience of this Brazil side.
Yeah, I also think Japan are a better team chasing the game than they are sitting on a lead. And in the game when they beat Brazil in last October, admittedly Brazil were with a second-string defence, but Brazil were 2 up. And it was Japan who really had to put their foot on the accelerator. And when they do that, I think they're at their best. I think they're far better buzzing around chasing the game than they are sitting on a lead. I think you could one or two questions about they let too many crosses into their box, and that undid them for the equalising goal. And then everyone's nerves are frazzled in the 95th, 96th minute. And you always know, don't you? You always know you're going to get a chance at the end. There's always a chance at the end. Full credit to the calm there of Bruno Guimarães, who I don't think he's great on his left foot, but it was a lovely little pass on his left foot. And Martinelli made a difficult finish look very easy, didn't he? Because he's got to dig it out of his feet a little bit, and just got enough on it to beat a goalkeeper who will feel very upset about being on the losing side after that fantastic save he made from Vinny earlier on. But I think you talked about the stats. I think on balance and for the future of the competition, the right team won. But they had to climb Everest the hard way, didn't they?
I know people love seeing Brazil in the latter stages of the World Cup, but then they also love a slightly more unexpected team. Although maybe Japan, as Chris was saying before the game, aren't that unexpected, a tough opposition at the moment as well. Look, Tim, across this tournament, it's felt as though Brazil, while not perfect, have been improving game by game. They've just come up against a tough opponent in Japan, as you said, probably the most difficult one they could in this round of 32. And then they fight hard and they manage to get the win at the end. Does it feel as though they are still growing into this competition, or are you looking at this performance and thinking, still a few concerns?
Yeah, and I think there are a few more concerns. We'll have to wait for reports on Paquetá and Casemiro, both of whom came off injured. Now, midfield is not their strongest suit, and he hasn't picked many. I mean, it was in the original squad, he only picked 5 midfielders, thinking he was only going to play 2 in that zone of the field. In the warm-up, it became obvious that they needed 3, and they took advantage of the right-back getting injured to bring in an extra midfielder. But they're still not particularly well covered in midfield. So if they have picked up 2 injuries in that zone of the field, then that's a worry, because that leaves their resources looking a little bit bare. But whatever happens tomorrow, it's going to be a fascinating meeting in the next round, because either it's Ivory Coast, and again you've got that tradition snob thing, the idea of being knocked out by an African side, it's too humiliating to think about, or you've got Norway in which case it's the hoodoo. Every campaign that Brazil have had since they won in 2002 has ended when they've come up against the European side in the knockout phases. What conclusion do I draw from all of this, Kelly? We can't lose. If it's Ivory Coast, we win. If it's Norway, we win. We can't lose.
Well, this is the thing. Norway, as you say, the only European nation that Brazil haven't beaten. They've drawn with them twice, and they've been beaten by them twice, and met in the World Cup in 1998. Norway won 2-1 in the group stage. But like you said, you look at that and you can't be tradition snobs on one hand and say we can't go out to the Ivory Coast, and on the other hand say, yeah, but history tells us that Norway can get the better of Brazil, and then flip that one on its head. You can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah, I think, Kelly, the basic mistake you're making here is trying to apply logic to Brazil in a World Cup.
Or to football.
Yeah, especially not to Brazil in a World Cup. Forget about it. I mean, my 9-year-old grandson is here, and he's talking with all of his mates on social media, and it's incredible because he's 9 next month. He's never even seen close to Brazil being champions. Yeah. And just listening to the conversation between him and his 9-year-old friends, they all take it for granted that Brazil are going to win. They've grown up with this idea of natural superiority, and something is wrong with nature if Brazil don't win the World Cup. They're going to have to do a lot of growing up, I think, during the course of this tournament.
Do you know
because
what, though?
Brazil could get there, but it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, and at times it might in fact look very, very difficult indeed. But they have got through. They are in the round of 16, and we can hear how that goal sounded on Brazilian radio.
Vira do futebol brasileiro, não há samurai que aguente, não há samurai que aguente quando o Brasil parte pra cima.
Alistair Bruce Ball, do you ever wonder you're a bit low-key?
I mean, they must have been somewhere nearby, Kelly didn't. I'll tell you what they might not have done, though, is sung Living on a Prayer during the second half, so we can
Neither
did
Chris Sutton. I heard you trying to get him to do it, and he didn't.
He gave us a little sort of a bit half-hearted, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I did eventually. I'm better when I've had a beer.
I think, isn't Meatloaf more your...
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, he'll do anything. Except sing Living on a Prayer. Look, in terms of what's next for Brazil, Chris, just to get your thoughts on it, Ivory Coast or Norway, Tim's explained the kind of traditional mindset that Brazil are going to be going into this one with. What's your thoughts on what you've seen so far in this World Cup?
I mean, Brazil seemed to have been a bit of a slow burner. I mean, the first game against Morocco, they seemed slightly disjointed, and then Cunha came in as a centre forward, and I think everybody thought that Brazil looked more of a team and had found the rhythm. But you have to mitigate that by saying they'd played against Haiti and Scotland, who have had a fair bit of stick, haven't they? Scotland, since they've gone out. I think today was a big deal, and it felt a big deal because of what a talented Japan team they were playing today. So to go behind and then find a way to come back and win the game, I think that holds them in great stead going into the next game, where they will go in no doubt as favourites, but whoever they play, whether it's Ivory Coast, who are superbly organised, or Norway, and of course the firepower Norway have with Haaland, I think Brazil are sort of feels like they're getting going now, and that may be ominous for everybody else in the World Cup.
Well, Chris and Ali, enjoy your journey to Dallas. You've got a 3.5-hour car journey ahead. 90 minutes of that will be taken up by Germany, Paraguay. Well, roughly 3 to 4 hours to get from Houston to Dallas. Who's in charge of the playlist?
Well,
it'll be. I think we'll try and get a bit of Germany, Paraguay on.
Yeah, that's
Kelly,
90 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes.
We have little quizzes.
We have
Kelly,
games, Kelly. Yeah, we play little games.
Quite childish, but
Yeah.
Not I Spy though. Not I Spy.
There's your next social media post. We'll be looking forward to that one. Obviously, from the non-driver's point of view. Guys, thank you very much. Really good working with you as always. Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball in Houston. Thank you very much as well to Tim Vickery for bringing us the Brazilian perspective on that. And as you've been hearing, later on we're going to be in Boston for Germany against Paraguay. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin are in place. What are we expecting from the Boston conditions, Deno?
Very, very hot, Kelly. They've actually issued, I was watching the local news last night, and they've issued a severe heat warning for this part of the United States.
We've had them in the UK all week.
Yeah, but have you gone in excess of 100 degrees?
What's that in Celsius? We've been nearly 40.
Well, that would be then, wouldn't it? They're predicting about 110.
I'd be taking the wind out of your sails if there was a breath of wind around. But yeah, we're not playing professional football, and we're not playing World Cup football in those conditions. No. So it is going to be really tricky out there, and energy sapping for the players.
Sorry, I was trying to think who sang "The Wind Beneath Your Wings." I was
Bette Midler.
That was it. I could think of the I could see it, but I just couldn't get the name. Sorry, it was when you were talking about musical.
Probably the heat. It saddled your brain.
Well, it doesn't take much, as you know. There's no ducks though here today. This is not the weather for ducks. I just know
not
that
the weather for ducks. It is hot. It is presumably quite humid in Boston. There is an extreme weather warning in place, and there is a lot of heat at the moment, Pat Nevin, on Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah, as there always is with the German coaches. The thing is, they tend to get knocked out quite a lot these days, don't they? I mean, we've all got this attitude of the Germans being one of the great teams, and they were in the past, but it feels like the past, doesn't it? So yeah, massive amount of pressure on them today to win this game. The expectation is they will against Paraguay, but they've struggled against Paraguay before, and Paraguay are infamously horribly hard to play against. So got a lot on their plate today, and they need to do a lot, and they've made one or two little tweaks and changes to the team to make sure they can score the odd goal today, the Germans. So we shall see if that works.
Well, you talk about tweaks, Deno, you've got the team news.
I have indeed, yes. There was a lot of talk about Joshua Kimmich and whether he should play in midfield, but Nagelsmann has kept him at right back. They've made just 2 changes from the team that was beaten by Ecuador, but they've had a very settled side throughout this tournament so far. But Brown, who had a slight issue with a groin, he missed that game against Ecuador. He comes in at left back to replace Raum in the side, and Undav makes his first start at the expense of Musiala. So Neuer is in goal. It is a back 4 for Germany of Kimmich. Tah and Rudiger are the 2 central defenders. Nathaniel Brown then at left back. It looks like they're going to try and match up Paraguay here with a 4-4-2 with Sane, Pavlovic, Metscher and Wirtz, Undav and Havertz. And as for the changes for Paraguay, well, Almiron has come back from suspension, but Diego Gomez of Brighton and Hove Albion is serving a game ban because he picked up 2 yellow cards. So that's one change. Alderete of Sunderland isn't fit. He's got a knee issue. He's replaced in the heart of the defence by Canale. And the other changes are Bobadilla for Velasquez, and Alonso, who was rested, comes in at left back for Madano. So Orlando Hill is in goal, a back 4 of Caceres, Canale, Gustavo Gomez and Alonso. Almiron, formerly of Newcastle, of course, Cubas, Bobadilla and Galasa, and then a front 2 of Avalos and Julio Enciso.
Pat, in about 30 seconds, those tweaks for Paraguay, do you think they'll be enough to put more pressure on Germany?
I think they will put pressure on Germany because they're just horribly hard to play against. It's not complicated. They are famous for the one-touch move. You know, get it at the back, get it up front as quickly as you possibly can. And the fact that they've got Enciso up there alongside Avalos, you know, they're good at, they know what they're good at. It's pretty simple stuff. But if you're good at it, why change it? So they will pose that problem.
We will hear more from Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis very shortly, but it is day 1 at Wimbledon. Let's check in on what's been happening with Katie Smith.
Yeah, so the first day of the championships, Wimbledon 2026, a busy day as ever. I'm perched up here on court 18, looking out a beautiful view here to our right-hand side. We have the media centre with this high wall that leers and looms over the court here. So people are stood, 3 deep at the moment, staring down at the British number 6, Jack Pennington-Jones, who's in the third set, trailing by 2-0 to Brandon Nakashima. And then a low-sided left-hand area of the court where I can look out and see centre in front of me covered in that green ivy. Court 1 over to the left-hand side as well. And to centre court we go, where today we've seen Yannick Sinner in a bit of bother, the world number 1, but he is through to the second round, taken to 5 sets though by Mirmir Kecmanovic. Arina Sabalenka, the world number 1 on the women's side, is through as well. Much more straightforward for her. Teodora Kostovic, her opponent. It has not been a good day for the British players. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But Novak Djokovic, the 7-time champion here at Wimbledon, in action in the second set at the moment. Our team there, former Wimbledon champions Marion Bartley and Pat Cash, alongside Gigi Salmon. And Gigi, it's been a tighter second set, this, for Djokovic.
Yeah, it certainly has. Wu Yibing, who is the world number 102, has shaken off any early nerves. He's standing toe-to-toe with Novak Djokovic. He's making him play, and he is making him move. And he just got hit by a ball.
Oh, he hit the ball into his face. Bounced funny off a lead.
He's getting a few bad bounces. Yeah. The Marion said it's not the surface, it's the footwork. But on that occasion, he just struck it into himself.
It's just when he hits the line.
Well, he's
it's very, very difficult.
Football player, he could have rolled around the ground for about a minute. Holding his face.
It's a little bit slippery. We've had a few tumbles. Right, we've got a game point. This takes us into a second set tiebreak. Djokovic took the first 6-4. At the end of this set, they're going to shut the roof and turn the lights on because it might only be 8:25, but both players have complained that they cannot see the ball.
It is dark.
It is dark.
Well, to be fair, it's getting also slippery when it's darker, for sure, because the temperature goes down and it just makes the grass a bit more slippery.
Djokovic serves centre of the box, the backhand down the line, the forehand whip cross-court by the Serb. Cross-court on the angle from Wu, and it's long from Djokovic, and it's juice, and now Wu Yibing is 2 points away from splitting sets. Novak Djokovic, the 24-time Grand Slam singles champion, 7 of them here at Wimbledon. Can he, at the age of 39, reach another Grand Slam final? Can he achieve his dream of being the only player in the history of sport to win 25? Good serving, wins him the point, game point for the tiebreak.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Wu Yibing is twisting the neon-framed racket in his right hand, wide stance, deep knee bend, swaying slightly from side to side. Djokovic, that sort of furious bouncing of the ball, tosses it up into the night sky, serves out wide. The backhand is thundered back. Great return. Short ball for Wu, goes down the line with the forehand. Djokovic is being pushed backwards. The drop shot, that is a beautiful, beautiful point from Wu Yibing.
Just at the beginning of the point, finding incredible depth.
Yes.
Wu, and just after that, which is the most delicate drop shot, and just being as well aware that Novak was pushed back and having the guts to put out that drop shot at this moment of the match. Absolutely brilliant.
Juice, 5-6. Novak Djokovic, the 7th seed here, serves out wide and misses. Last year fell in the semi-finals of Yannick Sinner, the first time failing to make the final since 2017. That is his record here. The slice off the backhand cross-court from Wu, the net found by Djokovic, and after an hour and 27 minutes, it is set point to Wu Yibing.
And he absolutely earned it. To be fair, Gigi, I mean, the way he has been striking the ball constantly throughout that second set, putting so much pressure on Novak from the back of the court, being relentless, the ball striking.
Set point, Wu. Djokovic looking for the first serve. His opponent waits. Djokovic serves the nets off the first serve. Yibing keeps his distance, twisting and twisting that racket in his right hand. Djokovic Comes to a conclusion with the bouncing. He is set point down the second serve. It goes down the tee. It snapped back through the middle of the court. The backhand is lofted up in cross court. Cross court, the backhand goes Wu. Cross court goes Djokovic. They're both playing it quite safe. Deeper from Djokovic. Net found by Wu. Set point saved.
So clever from Novak just to do not open any angles, play deep into the center of the court, and on the very rare occasion this time, Wu didn't put out the best footwork and was just too close to that ball. And that led him to just hit on the back foot, way too close to his body. And that last forehand.
Gee, what a brave second serve though, 124 mile an hour down the middle. Wu was expecting it, but that is a big second serve.
Coming up
Could
to
have
an
easily gone wrong.
hour and a half of match play. Djokovic serves out wide. The forehand is placed back and very deep. Djokovic rocks backwards. Backhand cross court from Wu. Backhand on the slide from Djokovic into the net, and it's his second set point opportunity.
Novak lifts his arm to the air as he can't believe the ball striking from Wu.
So a second opportunity for the world number 102 in this first meeting with Novak Djokovic to take a set and to split the first two sets, after which they will pause the play while the roof is closed and the lights are put on. 8:30 in the evening, an hour and a half of play. Set point number 2 for Wu Yibing. Djokovic's preparations are complete. Tosses that ball up, serves out wide, backhand is into play. Djokovic sits the backhand off his toes, it goes long.
Second set.
And there is the set for Wu Yibing, a big smile on his face as he looks up to his box. They are pumping their fist. This is the announcement.
The roof will be closed and play will resume within 20 minutes.
So there is confirmation that we will continue on
Play
centre
is
court. The
suspended.
curfew is 11 o'clock, but play suspended for now, Katie, after we split the first two sets. The roof will be closed, the lights will come on, and then we will resume.
So plenty more tennis to come then on centre court. Let's bring in our correspondent Russell Fuller, who's been across all the action here on day one. Russell, as ever, it's a frantic, frenetic, chaotic day, the first day of a Grand Slam. But I want to talk about the British players because it has not been a good day for the British players.
No, it most certainly hasn't, with 9 British players losing. 8 of those were up against higher-ranked opponents. The big disappointment was Cameron Norrie, the British number 1, who was a quarter-finalist last year, losing in a 5th-set tiebreak to Michael Zheng of the United States, who's a qualifier at 144 in the world. He's just left behind an absolutely brilliant US college career, and he played extremely well, but Norrie was short of matches, and it showed today. And add to that the fact that we lost Emma Raducanu at about 10 o'clock last night when she pulled out of the tournament because of a stress fracture of the shin, and then at 2:30 this afternoon we had to report that Jack Draper was also withdrawing from the championships because he is suffering more pain in his left serving arm. The bone bruising that ruined the second half of last season and is threatening to ruin this season was the reason. So to lose Raducanu, Draper and Norrie in the space of 18 hours is a major blow to the hopes that home fans would have had of British players perhaps having a deep run at Wimbledon this year.
Yeah, this was a statement that Jack Draper put out. I'm devastated to share that I've had to withdraw from my first round match due to recurrence of my arm injury. There have been a lot of painful moments in the last 12 months, but this one is definitely the absolute worst. And Russell, it is hard not to feel just devastated for him, considering, as he alludes to there, and you mentioned, everything that he has gone through to get back to this point. And I think a lot of excitement and maybe cautious optimism about this new partnering with Andy Murray in his coaching box, and we saw some glimpses of what they might be capable of at Eastbourne last week.
Yes, enormous sympathy for him, and it must be very worrying indeed to wonder just when you will be able to be fit and play the sort of tennis that you know you can. And we saw Jack Draper in the first 6 months of last year moving into the world's top 4 by becoming a Masters 1000 champion at Indian Wells, nearly won a clay court Masters 1000 event, lost in the final in Madrid, and the previous September he'd been in the US Open semi-finals, and now he finds himself with a triple-digit ranking. And the reality that training for the grass court season and playing 4 matches in Eastbourne last week was obviously too much for him with this bone bruising of the arm, and it is a problem that doesn't go away quickly. Players do normally work their way out of it, but It must be so mentally challenging and deeply upsetting to know that you're just not quite sure when you're going to be able to be back on a tennis court doing what you do best without any major fitness worries.
So Jack Draper out before the tournament really got going, or I suppose his tournament got going. Emma Raducanu as well. We've had no British winners to tell you about today, Russell, including Cam Norrie going down in 5 sets, which is not something we say often here at Wimbledon. The last time he lost his first round match was 2018. We've got the likes of Katie Boulter still to come. There is a possibility, though, here that after round 1 there's going to be no British players left in, or next to none. I mean, this is really worrying, isn't it?
Well, we'll have to count up the numbers tomorrow. There are a couple of hopes. Katie Boulter would be very much one of them because she's playing a qualifier in the first round, so it's a rare example of a British player having a higher ranking, and she's playing very well this year, won her 4th WTA title in Ostrava in early February. And she'd never been past the 3rd round of a Grand Slam, but we know what she can do on the grass. She beat Elena Rybakina, the world number 2, to reach the semi-final of Queens. And there's a couple of British players who may hang on here tonight. You were mentioning those 2 matches. Darkness is going to be an issue now. Diane Parry of France is 6-4 and 4-3 in a break-up on Fran Jones, but it's getting increasingly gloomy, and there is perhaps hope for Jack Pennington-Jones as well, because he's a break-up in the 3rd set, but 2 sets to love down to Brandon Nakashima of the United States. It's now 2-2 and back on serve, and Arthur Ferry's another one on the schedule tomorrow. He was a quarter-finalist at Queens. He's knocking on the door of the world's top 100. He's got a tough match, but there are certainly 1 or 2 other players who could potentially win a match for Britain tomorrow, but I'm not promising much there, am I? That hardly is a sunny, happy picture.
Not at all, as the sun begins to really set now here on day 1 of Wimbledon. The Championships